Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network hot take. You're probably asking yourself, Gooch, what is a hot take? Well, it's where we get at a table in a basement. We give our thoughts, give our opinions on a video game, TV show, or movie. Today, it's going to be a video game, and that video game is Kingdom Hearts 3. We've been waiting 14 fucking years for this game. It's a goddamn time. I can't believe we're sitting in here reviewing it with me. Chris Connor, Jason McCullough, back. You both were on the Prepping for Kingdom Hearts 3 podcast, and I think it's the last time you guys were actually both on.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
I actually listened back to that a little bit, and it's very interesting having, the Kingdom Hearts 3 knowledge, listening back. Mm-hmm. Funny, because we hit some things, really on point, and the other things we were, totally off. Totally off.
Yeah, that's what they do. They think if something's going to happen, then it's not what you think.
Yeah. So, unlike most reviews, we usually don't go over things event by event, in chronological order. But with this game, we're going to do that. And actually, the way it's structured makes it pretty easy for us to do that with the worlds and stuff.
And if it wasn't obvious, just big spoiler alert, that's my personal preference.
Yeah, I'm going in this game I'm not fucking around. We're gonna hit spoilers starting right off. All right. So, we all played on PS4. Mm-hmm. You got the digital. Yeah. You got the deluxe I did. I got the deluxe. Alright. I knew people who played, a lot of people that I know got it on Xbox.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they were disappointed, apparently, that there were some issues, right?
Were there?
Yeah, apparently some issues with graphics and stuff. Resolution, maybe?
I didn't hear
I hear that the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, if you try to do, there's more hitching on those versions if you try to go with all frame rating.
There's a lot of hitching when you do the graphics.
Yeah.
Because I have the PS4 Pro, I changed it, and I ran for 2 seconds. I was like, oh, those frames. Yeah. I was like, I'm going back.
Yeah, but I never heard any issues of the regular, the standard PlayStation 4, the standard Xbox One, those having issues at all. I think it was streamlined for that.
I think it was the 4K stuff. Yeah.
They tried to make those extra enhancements, but it didn't stick.
Yeah, I'm not getting a completely new system just for a new resolution. I'm fine with mine, thank you.
Yeah. Dude, if I didn't have a Pro, I probably would have gotten the Pro bundle. But anyway.
For sure.
Let's get into it. Opening credits. Cried for 5 minutes watching that shit. Before you even boot up the menu, you get that opening credit scene, and I just sat there and sobbed. Like a baby.
Of how it sounds like a new theme, but then slowly transitions back to Dearly Beloved.
Yeah, and Dearly Beloved. Even after the opening credits and sitting in the menu, I just sat there and teared up and was just holy shit.
See, I thought they were gonna play the opening credits again, like every other game, to where it's the opening movie is also the opening cinematic.
Like they did with Birth by Sleep.
Yeah, so I thought it was gonna be Face My Fears over again, but it just had a different intro into it,
mm-hmm.
Having some names, and so I'm oh, skip. And then, started it open. I'm okay, cool. Here's Dearly Beloved. Let me go ahead, take this in. And then started it up, and it's the opening. I was wait, this isn't what they showed.
And it's different.
And so, I closed the application and booted it back up. And I'm oh, got to read.
So, do you guys like Dearly Beloved, this version of it, the best?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think it's my favorite. Wasn't at first. After multiple listenings, I'm wow.
It was a slow burn because I was just I'm used to the other one.
Yeah. Yeah, and Dearly Beloved is so, goes into it, but this one is really different. It's really not similar to the others.
That and the opening scene is pretty much iconic with the series, really. You don't expect it to open without that, really.
Yeah. So, did you guys watch the memory archives before playing the game, or at all?
Yeah, I did. Just why not? I knew a majority of the stuff.
Yeah,
I did when it was on YouTube, but then, not the night of release. Because it was up, Monday, or Sunday or Monday, and then... the game came out at midnight, and so at that point I had watched it a day before.
Yeah, I watched them on the game because I was I gotta watch it on the. Now they have a nice TV. It's
it was
I just want to watch everything on
It was a nice artwork on the books.
Right?
I was I would want to own these as annuals.
Yeah. I thought that the memory archives to just to elaborate them on a little bit. I thought they did a pretty good job of quickly just hitting those points and be this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened, done.
They focus mostly on certain concepts and kind of like separate games, but I would say it definitely had a lot to it, but not everything, obviously.
Yeah. I feel like if you've never played a Kingdom Hearts game, you're just going to be confused. And if you played a few, I think it'll probably be like, oh yeah, I remember this, and oh, okay, sure, whatever.
Even the game itself was confused with the story. We'll get into that.
Well, it seems like the standard like television show of like, hey, here's the most important plot points going into this game. So
Yeah,
we're just gonna brush over that.
Like last time on Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
We played
It's basically that.
What's
but,
gonna
like,
happen
for
in this
each
game?
Reconnect.
Yeah. Okay. Start up. All proud.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I did standard,
Really?
Really.
Why?
so I have a chance to play it again.
True. I thought about
We'll talk
it,
about proud mode.
but I'm like, I don't know.
Nah, I was like,
Were you-
I heard some early impressions going into it of like non-spoiler impressions, and I'm like, I'm gonna go proud.
Were you upset about there being no critical?
Not really. I mean, with the fact that
After beating it? Yes.
yes, I think like we'll elaborate on it more, and it's one of my negatives for the game. It's too easy, and like I don't want to get into it right now, and because we're gonna talk about it.
We'll do overall impressions after the recap.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
like you're gonna know the fact that we're gonna like it by the end, and by the end we probably will say of everything that we're gonna say anyway.
Yeah.
Intro, fucking loved it, every second of it, and then I watched every time I booted up the game, like prior to beating it. I watched the intro every time. Every time I booted up the game. Thank God for theater mode being like unlocked right at the beginning.
Now, you're talking about after they bring the Kingdom Hearts 3 font, or are you talking
Yeah,
about
the Face
before
My
that?
Fears
All right.
intro. Yeah. Oh my God, that song.
It's so good.
I love it. I fucking
It is
love
a good
it.
song. Apparently, it got really ripped on compared to...
It did, and I didn't understand why. I'm like, shut the fuck up and just love this game.
I was more skeptical about the other song though. The more like
Don't think twice.
Don't push.
yeah.
And it only plays once, and that's what I heard. It was like, oh, this isn't the theme, and yeah, we actually
But like
talked
it was
about
so heavy-handed in trailers, especially around the time that they had like 3 of the same trailer with like different like 15-second clips in there of like, oh, here's Pirates, oh, here's Frozen, but they're like separate, like one's for Xbox and one's for Nintendo, and then or not Nintendo, but
I wish Nintendo. Hopefully, that'll come eventually.
Yeah, dude, that intro, it's so good. It like I just can't like express it enough. It's so fucking.
But I like how
good.
there was only like 3 seconds for Chain of Memories, and then it slowly.
They really
transitions
don't like.
to
I
Zenith.
was kind of surprised. Like Sora, like when he was falling, like didn't go into the pod. You know,
Yeah.
except it's just like Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fucking dug it. Really did. And then starts off. It's gonna end as it began with a dive to the heart, which I totally forgot about. I didn't like. I was sitting there thinking, and I was just like, "Fuck!" I don't think I thought about like what the dive to the heart was gonna be. I thought about what the tutorial was gonna be, and I talked about like playing as Kyrie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like this thing.
Yeah, the dive to the heart is important, especially their unique concept of having to choose, like, back in 1, choose the sword or the shield. That'll dictate what abilities you get first.
Especially in the main series game. And I even like how you fall as like Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora and then the mirror. That was really cool to see him like modeled really nice in like the old outfit.
Even in this new graphics, just they decided to add that detail, even though they didn't have to.
Yeah, for literally like, I mean, you can run around that circle as long as you want, but for like 2 seconds of gameplay.
But all those picture frames of like the iconic moments, like just circling around.
I thought that was really unique, like how they would use those frames there just for use this example and see it this way, like Guardian, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you noticed. Very fine point. When you're Sora, as like when you're Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora, he jumps like he does in Kingdom Hearts 1, and then when you go to Kingdom Hearts 2, he jumps like
with
he does
the
in Kingdom
jump
Hearts
and
2.
spread legs.
Yeah. Classic. Real quick, I'm gonna make sure it's recording because I like got that like oh shit moment in my head.
I'm just afraid we're gonna have a repeat of last time drink spill.
Oh no, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Dude, like I thought about it, and I'm like, fuck.
What if we're not?
It always happens. Anyway, so choices. The first one was wisdom, vitality, and balance, and this affected health and MP pools. And I just went with balance.
Same.
I went magic.
Which honestly probably was like a really good move.
Yeah.
Magic
'Cause
is so
If
good
it was
in this game.
because like seeing the gameplay trailers, you see how like grand all the magic moves are, and I figured that as they evolve and go into the Zaz and Guz and all that other stuff,
The saws and guys.
that It would probably be really well to have all that, especially for like Blizzard, because Blizzard
Good call.
was really OP.
Yeah,
And
really good
Thunder.
call on your part.
Yeah.
Well, that's the best thing. You can replay it, give it a shot.
So what did you do?
It bounced.
Okay. And then the second choice was Guardian, Warrior, Mystic, and that was essentially for the Kingdom Hearts 1. I know, it's in 2 as well, where
It's just
the
based
defense
off the
abilities.
that you get.
Honestly, you could probably pick anyone. I did Guardian because Plan on Proud. I was like, ready for it to be challenging.
I did Guardian anyway, just because when it comes to games, I technically noticed this that I'm more into taking a hit than dodging.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I did Mystic again to go more heavy-handed into the magic.
So, and then after that, we get the Kingdom Hearts 1 Riku wave thing where Sora runs at him, but Riku isn't there. I thought that was cool. And then we fight. Now, before we fight Darkseid, Sora is fucking wet as hell, and he looks really good when he's wet. I never wrote that down. I was like, wow. I was like, he's wet. I was like, he looks really
This
nuts.
boy wet.
And we see that kind of, I guess you see it in the Pirates level later, but like that first shot of Sora, like once the wave hits him, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I was
The
like, that looks
attention to detail.
nice. Yeah. And then you fight Darkseid, which is, iconic.
Another
Same fight
staple.
as it's always been. Great moment.
Wasn't he more glossy this time?
It's kind of like covered
Well, like
in
he was
water.
like half water
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
which I didn't really get why.
It was like finding the shiny version of himself instead of
Yeah, like a
the
shiny
shiny
Pokemon.
Pokemon
Yeah.
version of the darkness.
And then we pretty much Kingdom Hearts 2.9 coming at you.
Everyone, I know people were so pissed off when they saw that. I got the joke, but I can understand why they got upset.
Even though this is after the Olympus level, I really appreciated how like meta and how like just how much fun they had poking.
Self-aware they are.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm like, I appreciate that.
But also the best like opening to a Kingdom Hearts game probably that there could be, because like you think about it. You're sitting there collecting all the raft stuffs in one. The second one, you're spending 7 days as Roxas. This one, like you start
jump
up,
right in.
You jump right in, and you have Hercules as your prologue.
Yeah.
So it's just like
A world that we've been to, we know to, and the game very much reminds us the fact that we've been here before. Even the intro, I really appreciate
Donald reminding you.
in a way, it was kind of like a new world too. We never actually got to the Colosseum or the Underworld. It's just like
It's a new world, but like we know, like they know these characters as well as the players
We're
who
actually
played
in
before.
the city part of it instead of being at the Colosseum or the Underworld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how like in the intro it's like like Hades used Terra, Cloud, and Orin to try to like like propagate
And he's
his
like now
plans. I was like interesting. I
But
was
gives you a hint that they're not doing Final Fantasy this game.
like, do they? What's the hint?
pretty much.
They're basically saying, "Hey, I've done this with all these Final Fantasy characters. I'm done
No
with
more
this."
Final Fantasy
Yeah,
characters.
it's
Not-
like
not
I'm
for
doing
me.
this myself, and it's just like, what?
I wrote down loading screen numbers, and I think that was just the fact that there aren't a lot of loading screens for the most part, especially as you're traversing the world. Some zones have loading screens. For the most part,
it
the
was
game's...
very like it caught you off guard of like, well, social media loading screens.
I kind of thought it was cool.
And-
Honestly,
it's
again,
the-
like self-aware
It was
kind of
cool.
thing.
I kind of felt that it was
Gummy
kind of
fun.
like.
But I had like the same 8 in a row, so I was like, "Is this the only one?" Because it's the one of the diamond cutouts
Yeah.
of all the different swords.
That one,
that
like-
one
that's
showed
the
up the
base
most.
one.
Yeah, and it showed up the most for me, and I was like, I literally got the same loading screen 8 times in a row. Like, is there gonna be another one? Like, please.
yeah, I think they're world dependent and also where you are in the story, obviously. But like as I've beaten the game and gone back, I've gotten some for stuff that happens later in the plot, but like not the very end.
Yeah.
I don't really know
And
how
then
I
stuff
feel
that happened
about
in the
that
world.
either. Like, I understand, like, thinking back to old Kingdom Hearts games, all we have is just a black screen with the heart logo.
Mm.
It wasn't bad. I don't know whether or not it was, like, revolutionary or anything, but it was definitely good.
It was interesting to see how Sora hashtags everything.
Good.
Especially the Remy one about the food.
the-
We got a.
Wait, what are the hashtags?
They-
It was
they're
like
trying to
hashtag
modernize.
cooking, hashtag I think I know how to pronounce this word, or something like that.
You know the heart tags. Let's
Yeah.
call them that.
Heart tags, yeah.
So I don't know if you caught this, but when they first get down on the world, Donald's like, or Sora's like, what? No fanfare?
Yeah, they were aware of the music. It's
yeah.
like a fourth wall breaking, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's pretty dope.
They've done fourth wall breaks before, but nothing.
That
too
was,
big.
I was like, I immediately picked up like what he was talking about. I was like, that's fucking hilarious. I was like, that's really dope.
Yeah, because that you would go there so much for the Coliseum stuff, and like not having that iconic dun, 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 dun. Yeah, and he's just like, wow, like. Also, the city was under attack.
We do get it later though, like in the town.
Also, with Donald and Hercules, you get him like doing that outlandish like yelling for like 5 seconds straight when he's caught up on the statue. And I was just like, holy crap, Donald, are you just gonna throw a little fit? But he did it for like 5 seconds straight, and I was like, that would destroy your vocal cords.
They were really trying to go for acting this time around.
It's funny because like Donald and Goofy kind of fall into like tropes where like Donald is like in a like
He was such a wise ass.
like being a yeah, well, dude, like they. This is one of my like notes. Everyone rips on Sora. Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone is ripping this kid apart the entire fucking game. And I'm just like, wow.
They're trying to build him back up.
You really can't get your break. Like,
I feel like that's what happens. The characters like seem to go down less seriousness, even though when it gets big,
I don't think Donald and Goofy were ever really serious to an extent. Like, yeah, but even in Kingdom Hearts 1, Donald is a wise ass in Kingdom Hearts 1 too.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely not as
him
much
and
as he
Sora
was.
like don't like each other.
Yeah, they're
in the
both really
beginning.
stubborn at the beginning, especially with like the Tarzan level. and
Yeah.
then, like, ended up falling in separate parts of the world.
Yeah, and then Goofy's kind of like, it's funny, like the one with like the plan or like like always has something nice to say, but like actually he's kind of smart.
But there's that part right before Donald gets stuck on the statue where they want to throw, Hercules wants to throw them on the statue, but they hear the kid for so far away. I'm like, how? Like he launches that statue. How far away is this kid? But I'm like, I guess Goofy is a dog, so he would have good hearing.
Wow.
So, like-
fuck the lore, man.
but I'm sitting there like, also, you just threw him like on the other side of the world to save this little kid.
we're
from
going
the fire.
we're going species here.
So the plot of the world is the end of Hercules, which we haven't really even touched the plot of the movies. I mean, it's the end when all the Titans come out and stuff.
Kind of, yeah.
Sorta, yeah. I would say it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if the world came back, only because it's been around this whole time.
Mm-hmm. So Maleficent's there looking for the black box. Essentially, that's her plot, her and Pete's plot throughout the whole game.
They originally
Definitely.
were supposedly after the book, but apparently they're after the box now. Who knows for sure?
Well, I was kind of thinking they were one and the same. Like the Book of Prophecies was in the box, or like it's a pretty big box, man.
Could be.
You can fit a lot of things in there. Anyway, so I pointed. A lot of my notes for this world are essentially just like pointing shit out. Feel free to jump in.
He
with,
went crazy
with whatever
this. I
you
was
want.
looking over it.
So Hercules is your companion in this world. The idle animations are fucking fantastic.
The way that you can go, like, those transition points to those, like, downtime areas, and they would immediately, like, go to place to where you can have those, like, talks to them.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was were
Seamless.
smooth transitions.
Yeah.
You get the smooth transition of cutscene to combat, where it's always that 180 turn to where the camera goes from like looking at the character to behind them, and then you're seeing like instantly like that was probably one of the smoothest things. And like instead of getting the black screen and then here's a fight.
Yeah, the transition or yeah, fight the Heartless.
Yeah.
Like, as the
And it's
thing
like
goes
doing
around.
the like splash of like a cut,
Yeah.
and then you fight. But then this one was just the 180 turn is like, oh, that was so smooth.
Yeah, we're gonna run right
compared
into
to
it.
like 2, like when you just simply we're gonna go this another area. It's no fight. Your party members just around. You can go talk to them. Then you go right back in. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a transition, like little area. Yeah. As we've seen that through a lot of
You
games.
keep everybody in your party. You don't have to like cycle out Donald
Dude,
every time.
so nice. Quality of life in this game, especially from the past, all of them, is so good. Not having to switch party members is awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like just so like, yeah, I can use everyone and not have to swap people in and out. Because that's kind of what I did. Like, I would swap Goofy one world and then Donald, and then, for every whatever world. Especially when, like, the character was cool. Like, I loved using Auron in Kingdom Hearts 2, because he's, these are from
He's a
my
badass.
favorite Final Fantasy game. But then there's, like, some people like, let's think. Not Tron. Who's lame to use? Not Mulan. Who's, like, really lame that I didn't...
Aladdin.
Yeah, good one. Aladdin.
Jack Skellington.
Nah, Jack's alright. Gino, you gotta stop barking, man.
The only thing about Hercules that was really off-putting is when you're in the city part, before you go up to Olympus, Hercules looks really, like, flat. Like, I get that
He does look a little different compared to the others.
Because if you look at, like, Meg and you look at, well, Phil, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But,
it's in here. It's in here.
But, like, Hercules looked like he didn't have his powers almost because, like, he looked in the actual movie, he looked, like, dull. But then, like, once he gets up and gets his godlike strength back again, then he gets that glow. And, like, you see that a little more in Olympus. But, like, in Thebes, it's kind of off-putting how, like, bland he is. Compared to, like, Sora. I guess it's because they also have more detail.
I feel like everyone... What world does he stand out in? I'm trying to... What world is he normal in that it kind of stands out? Sora. Sora's normal in one world, and... Is it not Toy... No, not Toy Box.
Think about pirates?
I think we'll get... No, because they all look the same in that. I'm trying to think. Anyway, we'll get to it. I'm sure I'll think about it. So when you first encounter Pete in the beginning of the game, I like that he comments on the fact that you're weak and like don't have powers. I was like, okay, cool, like it, interesting, like good way to back your point up.
This ain't the same team playing fight.
Nice Stallone.
That was almost Rocky.
Cause like,
yeah, nice Stallone right there.
Hey, I'm Pete. Yeah, I just like how they were like kind of like backing themselves up with this like lore choice of being like, hey, like Sora lost his
and other people can tell
dream drop distance, and like it's noticeable.
I also do kind of like the fact that it's a new RPG. Like you expect yourself to occasionally go back in where you left off, but they paid that so much attention to detail. He can't have his same powers, so they just brought him back to level 1.
Yeah. Remastered music is throughout the whole game. A lot of tracks come back from the returning worlds and some of the returning themes, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that. The Trinity system kind of returns in a way with the situation commands, which I thought was interesting because they totally kind of got away with that with Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, the Trinity system was pretty much eliminated.
Yeah, it was pretty much the limit, pretty much.
Yeah.
Then you also have, like, some of the combo finishers where if Goofy's close, you'll, like, do a tornado thing with Goofy, and then you also have, like...
Unison
other,
abilities.
Yeah, and those were really cool. They were, like, combo finishers.
Yeah, they were really cool. I think they could have done a lot more of those, but who knows.
The only one I didn't like was like the shield bash one.
Trinity shield. No. Yeah, Trinity shield. That one's really lame.
I feel like they could have done a lot more with that too.
Wait, on the rocket in Toy Box. Ha ha.
Spamming the crap.
I was like, shut up.
I feel like they could have done that more with Sora, Donald, and Goofy, where they could have had more Trinity type of attacks like that.
I agree. I would agree. I do, but like while we're talking about the combat, it feels like a great marriage between Dream Drop Distance, Birth by Sleep, and Kingdom Hearts 2.
And spectacle.
Yeah, and the spectacle level is huge with the attractions. I have some notes.
I do love how you can get into the options though and like skip animations. You can also,
I don't like doing that. You can do that in Final Fantasy with summons, like skip the animation. I don't really like doing that.
Well, I would also avoid any attraction flow that I could.
One negative.
I would do it like once and then be like, okay, I'm done.
The attractions appeared way too much, and I feel like it kind of lessened as I played, or like especially now. I'm like, maybe are they not popping up as much? I don't know.
I think they pop up a lot.
I have a traction thing on that makes more pop up, but yeah, there were like way too many of them happening.
I felt like it was going to be similar to say the Thunder Mountain ride, where it only happens in certain boss fights and stuff.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Like
that was the only one I liked. Was the roller coaster one.
I like the pirate ship one. I like the blaster one. I like the teacups one. The splash
blaster one was fun to use the first couple times, but then like if you have like a flying annoying one, then it's just really difficult.
Yeah,
they are fun. I do feel like they do kind of get like a little old, but definitely when it comes to like in a tight situation, they definitely save you.
The animation for Sora being on fire is funny.
Where his buns are burning.
Yeah. Yeah, here's my note. Can Phil, like, not talk?
Yeah,
dude,
it's like...
they didn't cast a voice actor for him. What the fuck? I mean, it's not, like, dude, we've had the Danny DeVito sound-alikes in this game before. What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, it's really strange. Maybe they just, like, couldn't get him, and they were just like, listen, we'll just take his lines out. Maybe they did. Maybe it was, like, a last-minute
the worst part was him being there.
And being like, I was looking at his face, and he was like... And I was like, shut the fuck up.
No 2 words.
Yeah. Really weird.
They could have been like, hey, he's sick, he can't make it, and then just not worry about it. But
So next I had wading through water. You go slower in water, which I noticed. Dodge roll and air slide are not learned. You actually have them at the beginning, as of like every Kingdom Hearts, they're learned abilities.
Definitely like that better.
But not air recovery.
Yeah,
that was the most
that
stark
was the
one that
worst.
was missing.
Song transition during Rock Titan. Oh, the song. Yeah, there's like this. Like when you fight the Rock Titan, like this, like the music transitions like 3 or 4 times, and it's really dope. Yeah,
And it was a seamless transition
the way
from
the
like daytime to like stormy.
The way the mixing for the music in this game happens is like flawless.
Yeah.
Like it's really good. It's not like, I think in Kingdom Hearts 1 the music stops and then the battle music actually comes on.
Or like it was a harsh cut over the last music.
Or you hear the Heartless like coming out, and then the music would start, which is like kind of iconic in a way. But this, it was just like, you know, you were walking,
It was very well blended.
like as soon as you went Traverse Town. Did you catch that?
No crazy stop. It just goes right into it.
Yeah. Also, I thought that was cool. And there's an armor type enemy with the centaurs, and there's a few others that kind of have that armor like health bar, which was interesting.
Yeah, that definitely was interesting. Definitely think you got this in the bag, but then they just get some more health like that.
And the last note I have one. I won't bring it up though. It's just like finding weapon. Like you make the King Shield Plus. I wrote that down because I thought you were gonna like.
I thought that was gonna be
the
entire
only
game.
Well, yeah, that was the only one that was really like
I
that.
was hoping it would. It would have been much more interesting.
And like you have that interaction where you use the attraction flow in order to like make some like interact with the world and do like a fun little.
That was
minigame.
literally
Like,
the only
that was
time.
the only time.
And it's very obvious that Olympus Coliseum was the first world they made. Very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that all the other worlds lack compared to it, but I feel like Olympus is just like the biggest and the grandest, and the story is the best in my opinion.
Most polished.
Yeah, and I think it's because like in the first trailer, like we see Olympus Coliseum, and like I even watched back to that 2015 E3 trailer where we see Ericus and Xehanort playing chess, and it's just like, wow, it's pretty intact from what I can tell. I mean, the graphics look different, but like the world looks pretty much the same, and like so do like the water cores are in that trailer, but we see them in 0.2 anyway.
Yeah, I did notice some of the changes, whether it be the models or just the graphics in general, compared from 0.2.
Oh yeah. We haven't talked about Heartless. For the most part, all the Heartless are fucking awesome. Whether it's the Purebloods or the Emblems, I think they're all like really cool and really well done.
They're good.
Cause like honestly, some of the unversed, not in Kingdom Hearts 3, but like in Birth by Sleep, like some of the enemy types are just kind of lame. I thought like in the other games, and I always thought like the Heartless from the main series game were always the best.
I kind of felt like there weren't as many as previous games, but
I feel like I see what you're saying, but I think there's a lot in this game.
just simply the fact that they managed to get such a big number in certain spaces compensates for that.
Yeah. And then the last point I have for Olympus is Zigbar's there to pretty much yank your chain. He's not there for any specific reason. Like, as we noticed, like, all the Organization 13 members seem to be in the certain worlds for a reason, other than Zigbar, which, and we'll get there.
We'll get there.
May your heart.
Yeah, like, he
The
just...
start cut of, like, that bass drop. Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Dude. Yeah, Zigbar's there to pull your chain. But I kind of like it, like, just to, like, put him off. Like, I feel like Organization 13 wasn't used enough in the game. Like, I would have just liked to see more presence of them in general. Yeah. I don't know. Not that I was really
nice to have the Kingdom Hearts 2 one of, like, you have each one for each world and you kind of fight them, but, like,
instead you have... the lack of Organization 13 fights in the world I thought was, like, just depressing. But then I would have been like, it would have been easy anyway.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks, but whatever. Olympus is one of my favorite worlds.
The boss fight was pretty good.
Yeah. One of the only...
Standing on top of Zeus's molded rock part. Which is funny when you think about Zeus is still in there.
Yeah.
During that whole fight. But
I definitely felt like it could have been a lot more like go against each Titan individually. But
no, I thought it was cool the way they handled it. Again, it's just easy. Like, so you're not really struggling.
The tornado part was the hard one.
Yeah. And that's like one of the only Disney bosses we actually fight.
Wait. How long did it take you to get up to the gates?
Like,
with the shot lock type of square thing.
a long time.
I did
because
like
you're
that.
trying to bounce from pillar to pillar when you're like, oh, all I have to do is look at this main point.
My buddy Matt Penzer's been on the podcast before. He literally texted me. He's like, how the fuck do you do this? I was like, don't do it from the air. You have to do it from the ground on. That's what I didn't know. Like, I thought you had to do it, like, in the air, stop, and then do the next one.
I thought that was also unique, too, when it came to the exploration, just using the shot lock, not just for the usual shooting mechanics, but also just to, like, jump from one spot to another.
Yeah, it's cool mechanics, but I think the way they tried to, like, tutorial that in that part was a little
Yeah.
Like,
really
hey, you're going to spend 30 minutes figuring this out. Also, it's 2
Did
a.m.
you text me about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I know you
also,
did.
it
I
was
like,
2 a.m. the night it was released at midnight, and I'm like...
Yeah, I think I was in bed. I think I
I'm
went to bed at
half
1
asleep, but I still want to keep playing. Like, I want to get through this prologue.
I can't remember.
I'm trying to think, did I finish that world?
Yeah, like, as soon as I got to Traverse Town,
No,
was when
okay.
I stopped the first
I
time.
think when I finished Olympus, did I finish it the night one? No, I finished it that day. Yeah, I think I stopped like maybe once we got up to like the
After
Olympus.
the Rock Titan?
Yeah, maybe.
No, I finished Olympus that night and then saved at the next world.
Yeah.
Maybe I did that. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, before we go to Twilight Town, we get to play as Riku like the only time, which is a little depressing.
Well,
we fight
twice, but
yeah, but like they're so short. I wish the Riku playable moments were
But
a
you
little
can
grander.
tell the difference between him and Sora.
Oh,
like,
I know.
He's ready to go.
Yeah,
But then also you can't like look at his Keyblade without thinking of a car key.
I don't know. I think it's cool.
They've
I think
done that before.
only he could wield that Keyblade, in my opinion. Like no one else could do that.
I kind of wish they would show how they got the new Keyblades, though.
Yeah, they kind of
Here
like
you
totally
go.
glance
And
over.
he's just like,
Well, like Mickey's
thanks.
was essentially like, oh, let's just like design it after the Kingdom Key D or the regular Kingdom Key.
Yeah, it was like reverse.
Yeah, I originally
colors.
thought it was going to be like a fusion system. So
But
to
now
speak.
it's like similar to his
Starseeker.
yeah, the Anastasia hat. That
Anastasia.
Fantasia.
Fantasia.
Same
The
thing.
Fantasia hat.
Don Bluth's not in Kingdom Hearts.
The little bat guy.
So Dawn Till Dusk, which is the Amazon pre-order Keyblade, looks like that one.
Okay.
Actually,
I'm hoping that they come out as DLC.
and then you actually used Phantom. It's called Phantom Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Phantom Blue is the digital PS4 Keyblade, which is strong in Blizzard.
It
Yes.
pretty much looks like Starseeker. So.
Yeah. Amazon one is strong in Fire, and then the Phantom Green, which is the Xbox digital pre-order one, is strong in Thunder. So they're all the pre-order Keyblades that aren't available in the base game. All their
You get
fusions
like,
are second form.
Yeah. It was technically like second form M.
And second form D.
It was second form, but I know they did that with Starlight, but you would have this final finisher that was different from the
Yeah,
others.
so I had Starlight at the beginning because I did
me too.
the mini games. You do get it later in the game. But yeah, it's second form, but its finisher is Ancient Light, based on like the Union Cross stuff. We'll talk about more of that later. Yeah, so before we go to Twilight Town, we get the gummy phone, we get our new outfit. Kingdom Hearts 2.9 is done.
Sora does not know how to use technology at
No,
all.
he's an old man.
That's
honestly, that wasn't surprising that they went that
fine.
way, but like I
that
thought
was
it
one of the
interesting.
things they're trying to make it a little more modern compared. After all,
I
It
dug
makes
the
sense.
gummy
No,
phone.
it
I
made
really
sense.
did. I like the
I'm not
gummy
saying
phone.
it was. I'm not
FaceTiming.
saying it was bad. I'm just saying that's how they're trying to like get to a different audience.
But also the sheer like act of what is technology? A phone? Yeah, computers and stuff. That's Sora in a nutshell.
Yeah, like
I totally know what you're talking
like
about.
Tron, right? Wow. And then we see Ienzo and Raiding Garden. Sadly, we never go to Raiding Garden. I was kind of bummed.
But I was surprised by that.
And we get the Birth by Sleep version of it because we see that courtyard a lot.
That and the 2 version when it comes to the lab.
Yeah, but but like we never seen that. We see that lab in other games, but we never see that courtyard other than Birth by Sleep, which
They didn't go down to the chamber. I was surprised by that.
Yeah, they don't. They barely go to any Raiding Garden, which is kind of sucks. But yeah, the gummy phone essentially replaces the journal. It's the same thing. I kind of like it.
That's literally what it is. It's a replacement for the journal.
It's a journal that can take pictures.
Yeah, selfies. Yeah. And then what I thought was cool in the character section for the journal, you actually have different models for characters. So
That you can circle through.
Yeah,
That
all
was
Sora's
fantastic.
models are there.
They did that with Dream Drop Distance. I'm happy they brought that back.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I didn't notice that. I'm trying to think who else has different models.
I mean, you got the Donald ones, like all the different Donald ones and all the different Goofy ones.
Yeah, it's not all the characters have different models. Most of them don't.
Sadly, you don't get. I don't know if we should go into that. But like,
if it's the end of the game, don't say it. Yeah, I know. I think I know what you're gonna say. Don't say it. We'll get there.
Because it's only in that cutscene.
Oh, so did you notice the air soldiers in this game, but redesigned?
Yeah.
It's the same. He's in Olympus. He's like one of the flying dudes. Like it's the air soldier, but like he's just named differently. I just wrote that down. Twilight Town.
Power Wilds are back.
True. Power Wilds are back. We get a really like bastardized version of Twilight Town, which kind of sucks. I really like what we got of it, but like it sucks we don't get.
Is it telling that you have to go through the sewers now?
It could have been much bigger.
Yeah, but dude,
like
they sealed the hole in the wall.
You could have gone to all the different parts you originally were, and it's also the underground. Like, that's how you got around.
Spot.
Yeah, like
back to the
I wanted to see
struggle area.
Yeah, like all that stuff. I kind of wish they just had in there. Like we didn't have to go there plot wise, but like I just wish it was there.
Yeah.
We see the Nobodies for the first time. A lot of Roxas references to either Dream Drop Distance or Coded.
A long cutscene about how to work on the computer with the Enzo and them.
Hayner, Pence, and Olette are all different voice actors. I don't know if you caught that or not.
Yeah, I caught Olette. I didn't notice the other ones.
Pence is pretty decent from the original.
It's been 13 years. What do you expect?
So we get a lot of like drops of like mechanics in this world. The Keyblade Forge gets introduced. Postcards, which aren't really like too.
It's not really big
from the Moogle shop.
Think of like a call out from one where you would get postcards and then get prizes for it.
And then we get Little Chef Remy. We get the introduction,
which
to
is off-putting that they just keep calling him Little Chef
because he doesn't talk.
He can't talk.
And in the movie, he never calls him Remy. He doesn't know his name, which makes sense. The more it makes sense.
Yeah.
Why would they call him Remy? He doesn't talk.
But he could talk.
He doesn't talk to the human in the movie.
Yeah.
I forget his name. But like in the movie,
it's off-putting. You have Donald Duck talking within Remy.
Now remember, he sounds like.
But I guess the only time you could hear the mice in like Cinderella on Birth by Sleep was when you're Ventus and smaller.
Yeah.
So.
Not exactly.
I guess you had to be smaller to be.
But I think Twilight Town's fucking dope. For what we have, it's so much grander, that area. It's really cool.
Just simply really seeing the populated area really just...
Yeah. And like even Olympus, we didn't say that.
The back part where they have the little Mickey animated, like, 8-bit movies.
There's so much going on in the space. There's so many people. Like, it's just cool to see Kingdom Hearts worlds actually, like, alive. Yeah. Because, like, every other game, there's nothing going on.
I would think back to 2, like, when you have that big area, there was no enemies around, but not a lot of NPCs either, just shops and all.
Yeah, yeah. How'd you guys like the bistro and the cuisine mechanics and stuff?
It was alright.
It doesn't really help.
It took some getting used to. Like, they're just mini games. They're really touchy, like actual cooking.
The fucking pepper shaker.
The pepper.
Took me so long to figure out.
The fire one where you gotta rotate and then stop. That's the one that.
Fuck.
Really, that's the one that pissed me off.
Literally, the only straightforward one was the chopping.
The chopping one was the easiest one. Yeah. Next to that was like the egg one, where you had to do the analog.
Dude, sometimes I'm fucking great, and sometimes I suck.
I think it's because like as you're trying to press L1 and R1, you're also pushing out at the same time. Like it's anyway. But the worst part would be only having enough ingredients to do one, and you're like, oh man, so much tension on this one recipe.
You do get a Keyblade from that if you finish it. I haven't gotten it yet. I know Chris has.
I got it.
Yeah, so I'm behind you guys, which is interesting.
I got one trophy left. That's all I got. The synthesis one.
And the
oh really?
Yeah, which is a pain.
I still gotta get all the
treasure. So he went through the game and he literally did every world before he left.
Yeah. So like, as soon as I beat a world, technically you had to land in the next one, but then I'd immediately go back to the other one. And then 100% it, and then go on to the next.
So let's remember to talk about the Keyblades too. Kingdom Key and Second Form. I think Second Form's cool. Call back to Kingdom Hearts.
You have the Sonic Blade as one of your commands.
Ars Arcanum.
People were kind of hoping for similar to the original drive system, like having dual wielding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the triggers Ragnarok.
No, but it was definitely a unique concept. Each Keyblade has its own special transformation to it. Though I do have to admit that some of them seemed kind of copied.
And we'll get to those ones.
With with as little of Keyblades there are in there, because I feel like there's not as many extras. Like, there are a few.
He's heard me talk about this, but I'm hoping for DLC.
Dude, we didn't get Oathkeeper in Oblivion, and that really bugs me.
Technically, you did.
We don't.
Well,
yeah,
you don't. Sorry,
you don't.
We don't get a lot of like. Besides Shooting Star, which I feel like is like an immersion, like story-related Keyblade, we don't get a lot of those Keyblades, which I thought was kind of lame.
Actually used in one cutscene, like by default.
I feel
which
like
one?
The Big Hero 6.
You know what? I think I had it equipped at that time.
Yeah,
too.
no, that's unique to that world for that cutscene. It's very
weird.
Yeah, like it's automatically.
How did you know?
Because I didn't have it equipped as one of my 3.
Oh, okay. I did, actually, ironically.
Because we'll get into, like, Keyblades and which one was your favorite later, but...
Yeah,
well, you Big Hero 6, I didn't have it,
and, like, that cutscene came up, and I'm like, I didn't use that.
Hero's Origin, I didn't like Counter Shield at first, and I still kind of don't. It's definitely not one of the better ones. I like its finisher.
It's good if you love to block.
Yeah.
Because you get so much boost from blocking and like
blocking in this game is just so unnecessary.
I also like just messing with the different types of shot locks and also just what keyblades you use depicts what your magic looks like.
Yeah,
two of them have 3 shot locks instead of 2 shot locks.
What?
Yeah,
they do?
Yeah. It's the Honey one and Starlight, I think. But basically, they have the gun blasters and like
so it's the default one if you don't hit max, and then it's the blasters or the cannon.
Yeah, so and like the cannon is based off of one enemy targeted, and the other one is based off of multiple enemies targeted.
Oh, wow.
And then it's max and not max.
Good call.
So that helps with the trophy.
Yeah, so Shooting Star is essentially the Honeypot copy. Well, Honeypot is a copy of Shooting Star. In a way, I don't mind it, but like. They are like kind of dupe. Some of them are kind of like duplicate of each other, but there's another. The Frozen one is very similar to the Monsters Inc. Keyblade.
Yeah,
but like the second form is different. I'm like, okay, I'll give you that.
But like I like that the Toy Story one is unique with the hammer, the.
I haven't gotten this one yet. I've heard that apparently the one that's based off of Classic Kingdom is a lot like the Hammer one. That's what I've heard.
I just did the shot lock. I didn't try it out after I got that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, I'm missing those 2 Keyblades. So, I haven't used the one from the Bistro and
the
Classic Kingdom
and
the Ultimate Weapon. Do you have it?
No.
Ultimate Weapon is so good.
I only got...
Its shot lock is fucking phenomenal.
I'm going to rebeat the game once I get Ultimate Weapon. But one thing I think you brought it up, and I really didn't notice it because I'm just having so much fun with the game. It sucks there's no dual-wielding Keyblades.
Yeah.
It's kind of like going back with Assassin's Creed, having 2 hidden blades and now having 1.
But the fact that you can swap between them in combat, that makes up for it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that compensates it and makes it feel really good. But once I realized,
if the Ultimate Weapon was 2 Keyblades, and
I know it's
if
fun.
Ultimate Weapon was Oathkeeper and Oblivion.
Well, like I know the form is Situation Command is Final Form, right? Or no? Am I wrong?
They have something similar, but yeah.
Okay.
It's an evolved version of the Port Royal one, because the Port Royal one reminds me of Final Form as well.
Okay. Last note. There was a reference to Cypher. There's some,
That's literally, there's very few
ambient
references.
dialogue about Cypher. But we have no Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts for the first time.
We only have is the Moogles. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, and the reason is...
And the toys.
Tetsuya Nomura said, at this point, we don't need to have Kingdom Hearts characters... Final Fantasy characters carrying... or selling Kingdom Hearts. It can stand on its own.
I mean, it's understandable.
And it's just I get it, but
there's plenty of original characters now, especially now that they're all coming together. But I feel like if another installment comes out, I do feel like there could be more interactions.
Yeah, I was just it didn't I wasn't looking for Final Fantasy characters the whole time, but I was just kind of we do go to Radiant Garden. What happened to all them? And, we do go to Twilight Town, and then there's Cypher, Raj, and Fu. We don't see them. And, you didn't have to put a Final Fantasy character into a world, but I think those characters should have...
It's a nice touch, and it's a good...
I was hoping to see something about Zack.
Yeah.
True.
Like him and Cloud meet up or something.
Yeah. Sadly, we don't get those moments at all. All right. Those are some lore stuff. Next world is Toy Box.
Which is probably my favorite opening to a Disney World. Where they're on the bed.
Under the bed?
Yeah.
Why do I have intro had me what the fuck? Why?
Because of Verum Rex.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Verna.
Yeah, it started off with the CGI
So,
scene.
yeah, true.
And
so,
it's just like...
do you understand what that's a reference to? We're going to talk about it a lot.
Versus 13?
Yeah.
I don't know it exactly until you
It's a
brought
Versus
up.
13 reference at first. That's what it's a Versus 13, 15 reference.
As soon as I saw that model of the main character, I thought it looked like a mixture of Riku and Noctis.
I mean, Noctis and Riku are very similar.
Verum Rex also, I think, means the same thing as Noctis.
Night Sky.
Night Sky.
No, it's Yorza. The
Yorza.
character's name is Night Sky, which is the same as Noctis.
Yeah.
We will get to that. Buzz and Woody VO is really good, I thought. Jim Hanks.
For who they could get.
Jim Hanks
That was
plays
great.
Woody. It's Tom Hanks'
Yeah.
brother. I'm like, that's
We can't
crazy.
get Tom Hanks.
It was making me think back to like way back with
Let's go
Toy Story
blind.
2 for N64, and they actually tried doing some dubbing. Sometimes they didn't get the right voice actor, but
Yeah.
this time they definitely got it.
Yeah, they definitely did as
They
good
had
as
the
they could.
original Rex guy.
Ham, Rex, and the aliens are all original.
Yeah, they could. Unfortunately, may he rest in peace. The guy who did the Sarge was no longer with us.
Oh my God! It is that guy. It's the dude from Full Metal Jacket. Him. Yeah.
Yeah, Bubblegum Boy.
I didn't know it was that dude. I actually had never known that, but once you say it, it's very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of meta jokes in this world with like them being like toys, and then especially with like, oh, like you're a
Zora!
you're a video game character. It's like, you know, I thought that was kind of cool.
Which is very uncharacter for Rex. Of
Yeah,
like him
I was
trying
like,
to be a
it
video
makes
game
sense.
guy.
I mean,
Right.
he was like a fanboy type of guy, like when it comes to games.
I love your game. I was just like, this is funny.
Actually, it's Sora.
My name's Sora.
It definitely was also interesting just being able to leave outside of Andy's house. I felt like it could have gone a little bit more with the neighborhood, but everything was all
This
about
world
the
is
toy
very
store.
small, but the Galaxy Toys is fucking
It's
huge.
gigantic. I was actually talking to a guy who thought that they actually were trying to really stretch out that portion a lot.
Oh, I think the world. I think Galaxy Toys and Toy Box, the world in general, is bad because
you go back to the bedroom.
you retract so much in that fucking toy store.
I mean, we know we're
And I was
supposed to
like,
be.
oh my God.
I know we're scaled down to be toys, but it's just like
It's not that it's
something
too big. It's just
Go to
they
the-
make you
go to
backtrack.
the second floor.
Yeah.
Go to the first
All right,
floor.
you're gonna go to the third floor. And...
All right, we're not gonna put these people in your party, so just go ahead and wait by the front door. We'll be there later. Because I didn't like. I wanted.
You're
Rex,
not- you're not wrong.
I wanted Rex to be in my party, but
And
and
I
like,
thought-
no, I'm gonna wait by the front door.
I thought the world was a bit too long, and yeah, Buzz and Woody are our party members. The music for this world is really different compared to all of other
It's
Kingdom
also the
Hearts.
worst fighting.
What,
Because
the theme?
having to fight the Gigas
Oh, geez.
without a
Oh, yeah.
Giga. Like, you have to at least beat one in order to get in it. But then I found that the
I
red,
didn't
the
jump
red
into
one was
suits
the
all
most
time.
overpowered one because their
kinda-
charge would knock down the the other
And
mechs.
Sonya, right?
I kind of would have
Oh
to.
no.
What?
Sora would get stunned if he got hit by a certain thing.
Yeah, but if you were the red one, you could stun the other Gigas so easily, and then they'd fall to the ground, and you punch them, and
Now,
like
which
that
was your
one was the
favorite?
most the red one because it would melee the
Favorite was the blue
best.
or purple one. I like the shield.
Yeah, I would
The
agree.
purple one shot the best, and that was good for the minigame.
Yeah, which I
But
was like, dude, I
the-
can't fucking do this.
The red one is able to stun the other Gigas to where they can't attack you. So like, and then while they're down on the ground, you can punch them, and like it had the best.
Let me
punching.
just say, I definitely feel that if they ever try making any sort of co-op because or just competitive, like they claim they were
I
going
fucking
to,
hope they
that
don't.
that definitely would be what they would try to do.
Don't even say that. You
One
know,
thing I was surprised about is that there was like no friend leaderboards for like the minigames.
that would have been cool. That would have been a cool addition. Maybe
Because I was expecting to do that like after I did the Verum Rex minigame and after like I
They
guess
could
you
do
can't
that,
really do it for the
especially
cooking one,
especially
but-
with the high scores now. Like whenever it came to the high scores you had to get for the game to complete a journal entry.
Yeah.
That's just for you to see. But now they could just show this is the high score and top rating, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like friends list. Like that'd be another like little competitive thing to be on top of that.
Yeah. So the story takes place between 2 and 3. So
Mhm.
like half the cast is gone, and that's a plot point. with young Xehanort.
You have
That's the thing I never understood, especially with Dream Drop Distance, why they just split things in two like
Yeah,
that.
so young Xehanort is essentially there because, like, why? How does a toy have a heart? That's essentially what he's getting at, and that has something to do with the replicas.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like Pinocchio.
then
all
you
over
have
again.
Buzz Lightyear being so skeptical of you the whole
All the
time,
time.
which is
Dude, and
I
then
liked
wait,
it.
Woody.
But he's
the
like,
fuck
no,
up.
they're friends.
I'm
He's-
gonna fuck your day out.
But, so you start off going and you have the fucking toy soldier stuck in the tuba, messing up the theme song that's in there. You have to pull him
Sora's
out.
theme song.
Yeah, and then Ham stuck in the dollhouse. And
That doll fight was
That,
really
that,
weird.
That
that doll
was-
was creepy.
Yeah, because you have Donald in the house, and all of a sudden the eye, just like the head comes peering in through the window.
Yeah. There were a lot of. I wrote down there were a lot of toy references. One, we get a Dissidia the Final Fantasy reference. There was a
freaking Barbie.
instead of
references.
Barbie, it was Julie.
That
and there's a bunch of other
boss
toys.
animation, which later doesn't become
Those
a boss,
monsters.
like they move
Yeah.
like it's so good.
When he comes out, he's like.
Since we're on the topic, let's also talk about the links, because that's where you get a certain link of a character we thought was going to be in game, Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. Oh
Worst
shit!
one.
We totally forgot to talk about that. Yeah, with the so what Heartbinders? So we get the Dream Eaters.
Badges, so to speak. But
Yeah, no, they're called Heartbinders.
Mm.
And summons are links, and then we get the Dream Eaters from Dream Drop Distance, and then the second one we get
With
is Wreck-It Ralph.
8-bit something.
8-bit like Smash, 8-bit something.
Yeah, but like that one was the worst.
it was definitely weird.
Yeah, I was saying it last night. We were on
You
PlayStation
just like
talking.
drop brick, drop brick, drop brick,
And
it's
finish,
just like,
yeah.
And then you wreck it.
Yeah, and then you rack it, you know. That's kind of all the notes I have. I thought Young Xehanort's story was pretty cool. I think the world's just a bit too long. The Keyblade favorite deputy definitely is not my favorite.
It wasn't too bad. I mean, it was creative to make it into a hammer like that with the whole transformation.
the
but-
only Keyblade with Lucky Strike.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh,
so that would help with farming, but
I gotta do that then.
the going from all the different floors was just a headache.
Yeah, and the music.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
the iconic
Holy
song.
shit!
The
was
music
good.
Is
It-
good,
it's
but
just like
you got tired.
oh
You're like,
my God.
I'd be good to
It's,
not hear
it's
this
kind,
again.
It's kind of one of Pixar's trademarks. You think a Toy Story, you think that.
No, I know. I understand why they did it. It's just repetitive.
So you fight the doll fight. That one wasn't particularly hard, except for her vanishing and then dropping on you out of nowhere. What was the next boss fight? Did you go from that to the dragons, dude?
No, the
Yeah.
Dragons was first.
Oh, the dragons was first.
Dragons
Dragon-
first, the doll.
Then you'd go into the game, Verum Rex.
Yeah,
Then you went into the game after the young.
and then you do
Xehanort thing.
the fight
where,
on the
where
like,
Sora
plane.
is just trying to attack the crap out of him, and he's just like vanish.
Yeah, and then you do the fight like in that play mat thing, and
That was the best one. That was my favorite part was going through the like jungle gym area of like
Yeah.
the kids holding
Mhm.
part because
I
you could
did
also
think-
get in the ball pit and all the individual balls move.
I did think the world was really cool. Like, despite
was
me
good.
not being my favorite, I thought it was like again like a very unique world. Like there is no other world like that.
I mean,
and I
yeah,
really
there's
like
no
that.
perfect. I mean, it was probably one of the most anticipated worlds too, as well.
Yeah, it's very obvious, what it was, and we don't get a lot of it in the trailers anyway. Next up, Kingdom of Corona from Tangled. So it's the entire, it's all the events from the movie. A lot of the scenes are line for line, scene for scene. Mind you, I'd watched it a week before, so I was very aware of like the plot, like it was fresh.
Well,
and I
after
was
all,
just like,
they
holy
did,
shit!
They did get their models from was Tangled Pixar?
Yes.
They did get
No. Sorry, it is Disney.
they did get their models. Like everything's 3D modeled now, so they could just copy and paste for that.
So, fun fact: Tangled is the 11th most expensive movie, and I'm sure you know. Why do you think that is?
Hair.
Yep, dude, her hair in that
And
movie
the lantern.
is insane.
the lantern scenes.
Insane.
You're giving me flashbacks to when we went to go see Inhumans, man.
Oh god.
That
Yeah.
was a good world.
One of my favorites. Yeah.
The scope was definitely great.
I just like the story of that world. I think that's why I liked it.
Plus, like the little subtle parts of like her exploring, like they do this cutscene first off of like her
from the movie.
of her going up and down of like this is the best day, this is the worst.
That's
day.
exactly
Like,
from the movie.
yeah,
That's like
it's-
scene for scene.
And it's just like a little clip of like you have Goofy and fucking Flynn at the end of the cave, just like And
Yeah.
she's like, it's so nice out here.
And it's cool that all the areas she actually goes to in that cutscene are visitable. You
yeah.
can go into that cave and stuff.
And then you have the extra points later where it's like, oh my gosh, look at the butterflies. And then you have to like carry the butterflies over to her.
The
Or,
birds,
like,
yeah.
What happens if you don't do that?
You don't get an item, I think.
No, it's an extra little cutscene type thing. There's also the one where you splash water on her.
Yeah.
And you have to like,
And then when you decide to leave, she's like, okay.
Flynn's
and
like,
then
Flynn's
you
like,
use-
yo, bro.
then you use
I'm trying to
arrow
hit that.
on the cotton little flower things that just fly off.
Yeah.
Dandelions.
Yeah.
Is that what those were?
Dandelions, yeah. We do get a reference to the All for One and One for All, which I totally forgot is something they say in Kingdom Hearts 1, but it's also a reference to, like, the...
Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Well, they did point that out in Dream Drop Distance.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's why they did that, because they say that in that movie. Got it. I thought it was cool that Rapunzel carries her hair,
Yeah.
like her model.
Definitely one thing I felt that was off was after you beat the level, you can no longer have her as a party member.
Yeah, so you lose the ability to use their thing.
I
where
mean,
it
I
goes
know
with their-
I've seen the movie plenty of times. I know what happens, but I feel like they could figure out something to make it
I don't know.
playable again.
Extensions.
Sora.
Extensions.
Sora can crouch series first. Sora crouches under trees, and I'm like, this has never been done in a Kingdom Hearts game.
We're going Metal Gear here.
The fact that you could walk through bushes and not
Yeah.
be stuck by them and like have to maneuver around is another thing.
Marluxia shows up. He's back. New nobody that we never seen, which is I think the coolest one.
I
I
definitely
think
did-
both
Reapers?
works.
I did like that
Yeah.
because back in 2, I felt like majority of the lesser nobodies were based off a member of the organization.
They all
I
are.
did.
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
I
at least.
definitely did like that, like how they tried basing nobody off of the ones that weren't there.
We get 2 new nobodies in this game. We don't have, like, again, we have no, unversed and nobodies in this game. It's predominantly Heartless, but like we do get all of them.
we had very little nobodies to begin with in 2, but it's even lower than before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of the nobodies show up in game.
Yeah.
No, not some of them had to be through challenges.
Berserk. Wait, don't see
Battle
Berserker.
gates.
Berserker
Yeah,
and
it comes
Sorcerer.
back.
Oh, I haven't seen a Berserker yet. I saw
Yeah.
one Sorcerer. I fought one through a battle gate.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. Heartless can climb Power Wilds. I wrote down.
I love the climbing system.
You can
I just
swim
wanna put
too,
that-
as well, which is something that wasn't in the other.
I just
Kingdom
love that
Hearts. Well, no,
exploration.
I'm wrong. You can't swim in the other Kingdom Hearts games.
I
Kingdom
love,
Hearts 1.
I love the exploration. I just love it. It takes me back to an article I read about Nomura getting influenced by just seeing Super Mario 64 and feel, why not try and make this adventure type of platforming?
Yeah, this world is very point A to point B, one straight line, and it doesn't really like diverge on the path.
But it widens.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and it makes it more interesting when it comes to how you explore, like the slide down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more like Olympus. Wait, what's it? It's not from Olympus, is it?
What?
No, it is.
Thebes, Olympus.
No, the world. It's called Olympus. Not
Yeah,
Olympus.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's just
Olympus now.
Olympus. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Oh, the world opening titles are like phenomenally animated.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Oh, one thing. When we talk about no Coliseum in this game, big negative for me.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
like how they
thought
took
that was
out.
going to be like that, like, even though, like, similar to how they did the Mirage Arena in Birth by Sleep, something similar to that, where you get to fight all these different types of enemies.
Yeah, I was disappointed that one didn't return.
I'll probably say this 1,000 times, I am hoping for DLC.
Yeah, which is interesting. I really haven't even thought about it too much. So Marluxia is in this world essentially because he's watching over the Plan B 7 lights, which essentially is like if you don't find your guardians, we have more.
Now that's
and Rapunzel is one.
Now that's what's confusing to me. The whole thing of the princesses. You think that it's set in stone who they are, but now it's different people.
And apparently the seven princesses, like they handed theirs down, even though Kyrie never really got the chance to, but she became a Keyblade.
Well, they talk about that. They bring that up.
allows her to.
And we don't even see all the new 7 either.
No, we don't. But I think that's fine. I just think it's like, hey, like they have like some like I like how the fact that like if you don't decide to fight or you don't get your 7, we have backups.
Yeah.
Like we'll get them for you.
I mean, we kind of knew that from the beginning in Dream Drop Distance, which is why I thought that Returning Worlds like Agrabah and maybe even Wonderland was going to come back, but...
Yeah, good point. That's kind of all I had for this world. Kingdom of Corona is my Corona. Every time I say it, I think of
Corona Light.
Corona.
Yeah.
Beer.
The boss fight at the end that was on the tower. Well, one, you also had the horse carriage. is
Mother
one.
Gothel.
That was crazy.
The horse
turning
carriage
into
is-
a Heartless. That was creative.
Yeah.
And then like it was like a giant monkey lizard tree
thing.
broccoli.
It was broccoli. Let's leave it at that.
I really like
Eat
the
your
play.
vegetables, kids.
I like the story of the world, and I thought like again, like all the Organization 13s, like what they do is like really interesting.
Yeah.
Like and especially when we get to the end, I think like I was just like wow, like really blown away by like kind of how they develop. At
Yeah,
least.
I feel like you definitely get like more attachment to them.
Mm-hmm. And then Marta Lucia doesn't really do anything kind of special. The Keyblade is Everlast, right?
Ever After.
It's Ever After. Yeah. I really like this one. It's kind of like does it heal people too?
I don't know.
I
I used it a lot.
I do like
at
it.
the beginning.
I really
because
like-
it was good crowd.
I really
control.
like the Mirage type of commands it has to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, its finishers
Instead
really
of
strong.
dodge roll, you did like a shift.
And that's a unique one. We don't have
Yeah.
any of the Keyblades that are like staves. I mean, we have spears, but like it's
yeah,
pretty
the
unique.
spear was the closest one.
Next up is Monstropolis, Monsters Inc. The events of the
Oh, and you also glide like the wisdom form in two.
Oh yeah.
yes, yeah. A lot of forms I kind of thought like the ones with the guns were based off wisdom in a way. Monstropolis takes place after the movies. No one in this movie is voiced by who they were in the original. This is the only world where there's no returning actors.
I do think
No,
the kid,
Randall is.
No, he's not.
No, that's
Really?
not
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi.
Is it Steve Buscemi?
That was the original, yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. So I watched a video that Kotaku did, and they said like if like they who
How
the
Kingdom
original-
Hearts? How Disney is Kingdom Hearts?
Well, I think I don't know if it's called that,
I mean,
but it was just like
Billy Crystal, John Goodman.
like who
they're all-
are the
yeah.
voice actors? Like are these the originals?
Yeah,
now,
that
or-
was the title of it. How Disney is Kingdom
I
Hearts,
think
and then
that
they put
boos
like
were archived.
emojis over the faces.
Yeah, I thought it was
I
interesting.
think that's how boos were archived.
Boos were archived. Yeah.
Those
Which
are
makes
pretty
sense.
good impressions, though. I were really surprised by that.
So Vanitas is in this world, and essentially he's studying how they use like laughs and screams as like
That's
power.
supposedly how he comes back. I mean, I thought it was just
And
a
like,
time
and it's
travel.
about like emotion. I was like, that's cool.
Basically harnessing
'Cause
dark emotions.
That's what the unversed are. I'm like,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. I was like, that's pretty cool.
I was kind of sad that there were very few unversed, but I can only imagine.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised though because this is Vanitas' world, so this is the world that's gonna have unversed. And then they do the funny face from Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah, they did
Yeah.
that flashback.
Yeah.
I do like to.
I'm trying to make
I
it
would
laugh.
like to point out that I was kind of surprised, like how anticlimactic some big reveals were. Like they figure out about Ven, they figure out about Terra. They don't seem as hugely surprised.
Yeah, because I think they do know. I don't know. Like I feel like that's like they do like the point of all this is we need to get Aqua, we need to get Van, we need to get Terra. Like,
Yeah, their reactions are very matter of fact. Like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, just that. Like they're not as surprised. They're not surprised. Ven's been here this entire time. We've been fighting Terra this entire time.
And also one thing that I realized that like I'm like, wow, we know more than these characters because it's like, oh yeah, Sora doesn't really know Ven is inside him.
I mean, he
and
had
some
he
people
had a hunch that there were hearts in him with Roxas and all, but
yeah, and it's funny. It's like, aren't you talking about Ven? I was like, is Roxas really inside you? I mean, like, I get he's like your nobody, but like,
well, that's the thing. That's why you had to play Dream Drop Distance. I told you this. You figure out that nobody's do in fact regrow hearts, and because they coexisted with their originals, they have their own hearts.
My interpretation of the whole nobodies don't have hearts is that Xemnas lies to everyone.
Yep.
And uses the Rikution symbol to essentially, like the X. That's why he gives everyone the X in their name and stuff, is to control them and like have more influence over them. And that's why they follow him. But they do have hearts.
And they eventually gain too much influence just by knowing who they are, or in case for Roxas nominating Shion, they just develop their own
And
characteristics.
Axel. Yeah.
I don't like how they flip flopped on his name.
Yeah, it's like they couldn't decide. I mean, like, I flip in between two, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's really interesting that, like, because, like, you know, like, they say they don't have hearts in Kingdom Hearts 2, but, like, it's very clear that they do. And it's not like, it's like a Tetsuya was like, oh, they have hearts now. It's very obvious that, like, Axel's, like, insanely emotional, like, from the get-go.
It was obvious
about his decisions.
It was obvious we were told something differently, like we were missing something. Then we found it out in Dream Drop.
Did we miss the Kyrie and Axel scene?
We did.
We did.
Shit. There we go.
We also missed the Riku and Mickey scene.
Well, I talked about that, but lightly.
No, in Radiant Garden.
Yeah, we did Radiant Guard and didn't go into
We didn't.
the boss
We're
fight.
talking about the world.
Oh, and we talked about his Keyblade. Like, we talked
Yeah,
about that when we went to
so
it.
the Kyrie and Lee thing, which was like kind of like under.
Basically, Kyrie's like, I'm gonna write a letter that I'm never gonna send to anyone.
They're basically training in this place. Like, supposedly time doesn't flow. We have no clue where it is, but
It's like in Merlin's other book.
It's more. It's in Merlin's bag.
it's in his bag.
It's
That'd be funny, actually.
But yeah, they're fighting, and then Lee stares at Kyrie every now and again, wondering who do you look like, or what is he trying to remember.
I knew they were gonna do that. I had a feeling that she's gonna get Shion flashbacks. If not, maybe Naminé.
Then he pulls 2 perfectly non-melted popsicles out of his wardrobe. Where was that? I don't know. Like, they're not melted, they're not smushed, but he just pulled.
Yeah.
Hey, let's have these.
And
Where
he
was
drops
this
it.
the last
And he
10
drops it.
minutes?
Which reminds me, someday I'm going to find a way to make sea salt ice cream.
Dude, there's recipes out there.
for it.
Just Google it. I don't like how Axel never puts on his new clothes. Don't like that.
Well,
He does.
technically.
For one cutscene.
What?
Anyway, so
What?
It's not as complicated as you think.
Yeah. But like that, and that was one thing that we were talking about with the journal of like they have all the extra character models. It's like they don't have Lee's and somebody else's extra character models. That's only shown once.
Wait.
Dude, not at the beginning, but at the...
Yeah. Anyway, you've seen both endings, right?
Oh, those clothes.
Yeah.
Are they his clothes though?
It's a flannel cut sleeve
I gotta watch
hoodie
I gotta
with
watch
a
it.
leather jacket.
That was the style. They're going
Alright,
back into
alright.
flannel.
I forgot.
He's like all
And plaid.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plaid. Yeah, I actually wrote down the next scene after Monstropolis about Aqua. And then what was the other scene? Yeah, Riku and Mickey in the darkness.
Oh, Monstropolis had the most annoying final boss.
Not in the darkness when they're retracing her steps.
Yeah, the Dark Meridian.
No, even when they were in Radiant Garden, they realized what happened to Terra.
Oh yeah, I see. Like I thought they knew that.
Nah, Mickey
No.
catches on quick though.
They caught on.
It's interesting. I was like, wow, you didn't know that? I did.
Vessels.
Replicas, huh?
That's a very Metal Gear Solid snake impression for Riku.
Replicas.
Replicas.
Heartless. Nominate.
Metal
Gear.
The crossover.
I really like how much spotlight Ienzo gets. It's an organization member we really don't see a lot of, and I like that he does get a lot of time to shine in this game. Not all the like this movie is very Avengers Infinity War-esque. There's so many characters, it's hard to give everyone their time. I don't think Kyrie and Axel really get their on-screen time. A lot of characters.
Like we said in the last video, we were really hoping that
Kyrie and Lee are like just there.
We really hope.
No, but Lee's fine because Lee has a good plot for this.
True,
but anyway,
Kyrie, yeah,
we'll get
there. So after Monstropolis, you leave. We find out. So we get Aqua and Ansem the Wise at the dark. What, is it the Dark Margin or the Dark Meridian?
I think it's Margin.
I've heard both. If you
I usually
Google
go
Dark
with both.
Meridian, it comes up.
It could be either or.
Okay, so the Dark Margin. So that scene must happen like at some point, like in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Before Riku showed up.
We knew it's after Kingdom Hearts 2, but I guess it. We can put a timeline on it. It's like it's after It's before. It's when Kingdom Hearts 3 starts, but
after Dream Drop Distance, I would say.
Yeah. And then Ansem goes, "You're wise." I love that. I was like, "You son of a bitch."
That was the biggest cop out. Like everyone assumed that she got Norded. In reality, she just got darked.
Yeah, she got Ansemed. Yeah, so I totally forgot she like leaves Ericus's Keyblade behind. Like didn't really like realize that. I
didn't even think that she did. For some
I didn't
reason.
even know you could lose a Keyblade. Right? Like you just make it appear. But I guess maybe she's in the darkness and it's in the realm.
She could have gotten back her original.
Well,
too.
in 0.2, she fights the Dark Tide, and I guess she not that she loses, she loses it. And I guess if you're in the Dark Realm and your Keyblade's in the Realm of Light, there's some probably lower reasons why you couldn't just
not everything's explained.
Make it
even with 3, not everything's explained.
Yeah, so Ansem takes
Ansem.
Ansem the Secret of Darkness takes Ansem the Wise.
We need you for a special
because
project.
they're trying to remake make more replicas.
Now, if I remember, also let's point out that Vexen is back.
Yeah, Vexen is back.
Yellow eyes, not green.
Yeah. We'll talk more about him later. Aqua gets Norded and falls to the
not
darkness.
Norded, but
We're gonna call her Norded. Aqua got Norded. You ever seen that video with that like chubby Asian guy?
dude,
And he does like funny videos where he like plays two characters and like switches sides of the camera, like which is on. And there's one and he, like the dude's sitting in his room and he like kicks open the door. He's like, Aqua got Norded. He's like, what are you? I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, Aqua got Norded. like it's no contest what he's talking about.
also the replicas do hold a key part because let's go back from Dream Drop Distance. That time travel, as confusing as it is, did play a part. Supposedly the replicas were keeping people anchored in that time. Like Ansem and Xemnas, that's why they didn't return.
Yeah. There's a lot about replicas that comes to light, which is kind of cool. They flesh that out a little bit more because in Chain of Memories, it's like, yeah, replicas.
It was barely touched upon.
Yeah. Next, we have 100 Acre Wood.
Technically.
It's short. It's mini games.
It's literally.
We talked about the Honeypot Keyblade being a clone of Shooting Star. I feel like this is where the development time ran out.
Yeah.
I really think they were just like, all right, we don't, whatever.
I mean, definitely one
The
thing.
same game, just change the skins from flowers to what?
And with extra constraints.
I thought it was
vegetables.
interesting that like the plot was like, oh, like Winnie the Pooh's like losing connection to Sora.
I feel
for
that's
that
that's.
eighth time.
Let's go with the.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. That's definitely something that I remember Nomura talking about when it comes.
But, like,
to,
even-
when it comes
sorry.
to selecting a world, it has to have some sort of meaning or some sort of hint to the big plot.
And I feel like every world does. And I think this one, like he comes out and he's like, yeah, like he was losing connection to me. And I was like, ooh.
I'm sure plenty of people were also happy to not have to collect pages again.
Okay, hold on. I'm remembering the in
But it was a good art style transition because Sora had that harsh black outline around him to make it look.
Yeah, no, he
more-
does look different. Like I appreciated what the world was. It could have been more.
There was no
like the other
Eeyore.
games. Yeah, there was no Eeyore. There was
Half
no
the cast wasn't
Kanga.
there.
Rue was there. Kanga wasn't. Lumpy
Was
from the
the
new
owl
movie.
there?
No. And Tom Kenny plays Rabbit now, which is actually canon. He does
You
play.
were surprised by
He
that.
plays Rabbit in like other incarnations in the movies. So apparently he's like Disney official, but like I didn't know that. Tom Kenny plays SpongeBob.
Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah, if you didn't know, he's
No, I didn't.
I
Yeah.
mean, like we have actors like
he's
Jim,
actually
we have actors like Jim Cummings who are considered like Disney actors, but they do more than that.
yeah. Did you play this new Spyro trilogy?
Hmm.
Okay, well Tom Kenny voices Spyro in that. Just he does a lot of shit.
Tom Kenny does a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff. He's actually dog in Cat Dog.
Yep.
Didn't know that. Okay, next is Ariandel. Plot of the movie: we get Larxene, new nobody, and she's again
Plot of the world. It's
Yeah.
cold.
It's
It's
cold.
cold. Wow. It's freezing. Larxene is focused on the new 7, just like Marluxia was. We get the full Let It Go.
I still can't
Ballsy.
believe they did that.
I love how Sora goes, I don't know what that just was, but wow.
Hey, it's Disney. You gotta roll with it.
Honestly,
And then-
I thought it was cool. Like, ballsy.
It was good, yeah. They did it exactly.
You know, like-
That's not surprised. The one I didn't like was "Do you want to build a snowman?"
Yeah, I didn't understand.
Because she's
why they did
also narrating over it, and I'm like, I like this one better than Let It Go.
Yeah.
And it's a shortened one of like, hey, we're doing the beginning and we're doing the very end of the same part.
Now, people were probably afraid that this is going to be another remake of Atlantica, like Until.
But she's trying to she's trying to do her monologue over that song, and it wasn't blended very well.
I feel like that's just them like copying exactly from. That's exactly how it's portrayed in the movie. Like,
Yeah. But they actually had a whole song for "Do You Want to Build a Snowman?"
Yeah,
This one
they
was-
only played like a seventh of it.
Yeah, they only played like opening chorus, ending chorus.
So we get the sled segment, which is fun. We've done the Trinity sled before, but this one's kind of like a mini game
Mhm.
when you're running from Marshmallow.
yeah, mostly because it's not really like. This was in Olympus. It was more like a way to get through paths. This is just going down the mountain. I do feel like going down the mountain did get a little tedious, and then climbing back up.
Those
I
ice
think-
dragons were the like worst heartless to fight.
I thought they were kind of cool.
They were cool,
I
yeah,
do
but
think
they were
this
just
world is very
terrible to fight.
confusing, especially going back to it and finding all the treasures. I was like, holy fuck! I was like, I'm getting lost as hell.
Yeah,
Everything
because
was the
everything,
same.
yeah, everything
Yeah.
was the same.
I like the world, but it, again, it's a lot different.
Especially
from,
the labyrinth.
We didn't talk.
That
too much.
labyrinth was like a pain.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
talk about Monstropolis, the world, as much, but like it's a point A to point B, but like it's so much different than
Especially because
Corona and
since
and
Kingdom
Olympus.
Hearts is so obsessed with doors and all, I definitely was looking forward to see how they would do it with Monsters Inc. Just wanted to see how this door goes to this door, and they're trying to.
Oh, we missed like the best scene in the whole game of them throwing Vanitas through all the other doors
Oh shit!
Oh,
yeah.
and grabbing them from behind.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't really. Actually, we totally like glanced over that.
Yeah.
How Vanitas, like we first get he talks about Van and like he kind of explains it to him, which we knew if you play the other games, which you should have.
He didn't reveal himself to Sora though, did he?
No.
Didn't see his face.
Yeah.
Dude, I think Haley Joel Osment does a really good job this time, or even better, like as Evil Sora, and you hear it more in the end.
I do feel like it was a little more exaggerated.
He gets
than
like
what
really
wrestling.
maniacal, but like I feel like Vanitas is that type of character. He
Yeah.
is like really like a loose cannon. Like even like you can kind of compare him to like Dark Riku, but like Vanitas is just like another level of crazy.
Back to Arendelle. Arendelle has probably the best like plot twist of a party member.
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect
I think I
that.
forgot about that. I knew that
Because you fight
Marshmallow
him and
was-
like, okay, so you fall off the edge just like in the story, and then like you see Hans carrying away Elsa, and then
Who
he's
is not
like,
voiced.
he
Who
was
has
like,
no lines.
That was probably the most.
Elsa.
That was the most random party member ever.
But fantastic.
Yeah, I think
Because you also see like in his like limits and stuff the same moves that he was using against you, and it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
that easily translates over.
Yeah, so you get some extra scenes if you get the wrong parts with Olaf, if you didn't know that.
Yeah.
Which, yeah,
I got a 10.
Well, you can play the game over again, which I learned the hard
yeah,
way.
yeah. So, if you get hit by ice in this, you get frozen, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like the fire effect. And then the last thing I had was a marshmallow joined your party. And the fucking boss fight in this world is awesome.
The best.
I love this wolf.
The best
Yeah.
heartless boss fight.
Yeah, holy shit. It's really cool. It's really grand.
Yeah.
And then the cutscenes are... We get a lot of, like, cool, like, like, out of... Like, pre-rendered cutscenes. We get one in Corona, and then we get one
Yeah,
here.
I think that was the first like jump to a CGI.
No, it's in Corona.
There's a
When he
CGI
cuts
one?
off Rapunzel's hair, when
Yeah.
Flynn Rider,
Yeah,
we
but
get it there.
they were out. I guess that makes sense because Sora and them were still looking from outside the window, so you couldn't really see their full models. But
No,
like,
you can. They go to them.
But like
yeah, no, you're
the
right.
full like opening cinematic type CGI that was in Let It Go, and you see like the individual turns and
that
all
was kind of hard to distinguish actually because the graphics have gotten so.
Sometimes
good.
it's like, did we just switch over to like a cutscene?
Yeah. But sometimes you could tell like it really pushed the saturation of like Sora's hair, and
Especially compared to past games where you would have in-game model, cutscene model.
yeah,
Yes.
it would be like a lot of movement,
It's Godzilla.
and it would be like 2 words, and it's just like, I guess that matches up.
I don't. Forgetting to talk about the Keyblades. The Keyblade from
Monstropolis.
Happy Gear.
Yeah, Happy Gear.
Happy
Hap-
Gear.
Is it called Happy Gear?
Yeah, it
No.
goes from Happy Gear
To
to
the yo-yos.
Agile.
No.
Agile Claws. Then
No, it's not Happy Gear.
It is
It's Happy
Happy.
something.
Happy Gear.
You sure?
Yeah.
Would you rather say Happy
Because
Hour?
Nano Gear is
So you have 2 gears.
no way.
He's gonna look it up.
But you have then it goes to Agile Claws, and then it goes to Tactile Yo-Yos. I don't know what's the other thing. Is it just Yo-Yos?
I think it's just the yo-yos. Yeah.
But you have the Yo-Yos is
Yeah, it's that Keyblade.
really? Because I thought it was like to imitate the claw.
Yeah,
From,
it turns into claws at the ending.
Yeah, it's a yo-yo.
Yeah, I thought the claw would represent like Toy Story and like that claw.
The claw.
But
Keep talking.
yeah, no. I'm trying to think of what else happened in Monstropolis. Had the worst boss fight with all the little
He
like,
was actually the
slimy
hardest.
hands.
That was weird.
He was hard.
Because the slimy hands would just like slap you back, and then he was invincible during that time, so you had to knock out all the hands.
It is Happy Gear.
Yeah.
That's a cop out.
And then Arendelle's has the frozen one that looks similar to the castle. That,
Crystal. Snow?
That makes sense.
Crystal something.
Crystal Light.
Crystal Snow.
That sounds like a beer right there.
I really like Crystal Snow. Good Keyblade. I get from Mariendale. I don't really have much to say about this on Mariendale. Kind of ready to move on. I noticed it was
the
going a
mini
little
game's
fast.
fun. The sledding.
Yeah.
It sucks that you had to do it 10 separate times.
Why?
Oh yeah, I
you
still
get-
haven't done that yet.
I mean, I fucked it up, and
You gotta
I
get all the
score.
hidden treasures in it, and then at the end.
Wait, you do?
After you get 10 different treasures in it, then you get an Arakalum Plus. Or
I gotta go.
Those are stackable, right? I don't have to get them in one sitting.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
yeah, I got 2. Yeah, it's impossible. There's so many different ways.
Yeah,
to
there's
go.
10 of them, and then
Okay, well, I'll go back. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I just didn't realize that. So in between this world and the next world, we get our little, hey, you realize Organization 13 is mostly comprised of
it's the Dimix cutscene.
Xehanort's apprentices, right? And then Axel
Was,
and
it was.
Isa. Well, you guys, Marluxia, Larxene, Demix, and Luxord. Luxord, please. Luxord. So we know Marluxia and Larxene are in Union Cross, and we know they're from Daybreak
They
Town.
have some type of reference, yeah.
So I'm going to assume all of these characters are ancient Keyblade wielders from that time period.
Because we know of Marluxia and Larxene.
And then there's
Yeah.
Ven.
Because he says they're like they're ancient like Keyblade secrets. Like that's what.
That's also something we didn't touch upon about Axel and Sykes' motivations about a girl that was trapped in the lab.
Well, so we don't know who that is, right?
No, we have ideas though. It could be one of the ancient Keyblade wielders,
Yeah.
Scold, or another one.
Yeah, or maybe like we'll get to it.
The one that someone's looking for.
Well, yeah, I know what I'm gonna say. I really liked Larxene in Ariandel, by the way. What will Elsa accept, light or dark? I really like Larxene. I think she's definitely like one
she's
of
the one the best developed of the.
She's just so like maniacal too. Like,
Yeah.
I think she's really well like voiced. Whoever does her.
I mean, she could have split personality disorder.
It's a facade. Let me point out now that I actually got the order mixed up. I went by combat level. I did the last 2 worlds in different order.
Wait, so what is it's Caribbean San Francisco?
Yeah,
right?
I did the opposite order by accident.
Yeah, I did I've been doing them in battle. That's how they're written in battle level order.
Caribbean's the only one where the only Luxord stays the organizational 13 member. The rest of them are different.
Yeah, because he was in Kingdom Hearts 2 there.
Yeah.
So the Caribbean, Pirates of the Caribbean level, the name's changed from Port Royale to the Caribbean because I
Thank God.
guess that always made more sense anyway.
Yeah.
I love that world. Even though it's basically... Well, let's just
I
establish
love the
this now.
design of it.
Dude, everyone is so detailed.
Mhm.
Like even like Sora, Donald, and Goofy are really
Sora's
like.
eyes
Cool.
are like super blue to match his headband. Around
Yeah,
his
and like
hat.
Donald's like fucking fur or feathers are all like feathery. It's like
Oh, we didn't even go into like their models for Monsters Inc. or anything like that.
Oh, true.
Oh, yeah.
True. Shit, we gotta go back.
They're
Yeah,
nice.
let's. Yeah, you know they're cool. Whatever, they fit the world. I don't really. Have much to
I did
say.
like to touch that, like depending on what form you're in, Sora's fur would either be red, blue,
Yeah, just
or
like his clothes
yellow.
would change.
Yeah.
Or how they're so much more strictful about meddling now.
meddling.
Order.
The order.
I saw this meme that was just like a duck, like a regular like real life duck with like a hat and like a staff, and it just said order underneath it. I was like, yes. I kind of like how they brought that back because in Kingdom Hearts 2, all they do is fucking meddle, and like it's really funny. Like the point of it is like they don't want to do that, and they always just end up doing it. So this is the events of the second movie.
Caribbean was the first
Third
time
movie.
I died.
What is the second movie? It's
Dead
Man's
Man's Chest.
But this is Dead Man's
This
Chest.
is at World's End.
Is Davy Jones in both?
Yes.
Yeah.
David,
Really?
Because he.
Did I just totally not realize that?
I brought you to the third movie, Gooch. Trying to remember.
No, I think it is just Dead Man.
It is Dead Man's
No,
Chest.
it's not. It has elements from Dead Man's Chest, but it's at World's End.
Whatever. Fine. At World's End. Not the second movie. Yeah, so the characters are more realistic, darker, gritty. Everyone's like dirty looking.
Yeah.
Sora's like dirty. Everyone's dirty.
Hey, find the crabs.
That was kind of odd, but I understand it from the movie standpoint.
Great opening though, where you're chasing after the ship with
Yeah.
Hey, Sora.
or
Captain.
Jack.
Hey!
Jack.
I don't know where you've been. I wrote down simplified AC4 ship mechanics.
Yeah.
I do. The ship was fun. I was,
It was fun.
I'm still in that world. That's actually where I am, like in the completion order. And yeah, I think the ship is really fun for what it is. Like it's really simplified.
I think we can officially say now that that after Assassin's Creed that this is pretty much the go-to when it comes to ship combat.
Yeah.
That was the first time I died during the
Yeah.
playthrough was during
in the ship.
Yeah, because I had one where it was like 5 of them, and there was 2 giant red ones and then 2 small green ones.
Yeah,
And they kept coming at you, disappearing.
I died at the boss fight, and I'm like, I don't count that as a death.
Oh yeah, was it based off the damage meter in the top left?
Yeah.
I also really gotta love the whole exploration afterwards too, like just expanding the world. Like
Yeah, like you don't have to go to any of those islands, but you can.
One thing
and then
I
you can
really-
also go under the water in between. And
Yeah,
it's
and I've just been going. Last night I was doing that and like
Such
collecting
a
the
pain.
treasure and stuff. One thing I don't like about this world is it doesn't make you go anywhere else besides like the beginning part. Then you go to Port Royal, and then you go right to the end. Like it really
Yeah.
doesn't make you explore, and I don't really like that. Again, this is another.
I
world.
feel like that Caribbean and then San Francisco are the same.
Yeah.
because they're both one big giant.
But they're
open
both
part.
very different. Again, like this. is,
They're heavily detailed in where you can go and what you can do in both worlds, but the main like driving force of it, the
It's
plot of
super
it,
open.
is super short.
those worlds are
Yeah.
there just to show how big a scale they could make.
And
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. Like again, like all the worlds are very different. Some are similar to others, but like I feel like all the worlds have their really unique feel, like really different feel. That like you just said, like with the Caribbean and San Francisco being the same, but they're so different. I really like that.
There's something else I wanted to say about.
Oh, there was more lighting in this world. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
There's a lot more lighting.
There was
well,
the crabs was probably the worst part of having to do that, and then also leveling up your ship later, if that's something you want to do,
That wasn't
which
too
makes
bad.
that boss fight easier. Because then if you get your ship level max out, you can pilot the
Black Pearl.
The Black Pearl.
Oh, cool. I
As
didn't know that.
you can go back to Port Royale and change to that ship.
Royale.
Dang. What
So
was
I
it?
have Luxor's looking for the black box.
There was also Vexen too, but he.
Vexen's
he
doing
left.
some replica shit. Swimming. Some spells got some underwater versions. Sora has a gold tooth.
I thought that was unique.
Sora is also super gullible. With
He's
that,
gullible, like,
no,
all the time.
but that underwater. Oh, look, a chest. Let's go there. Sora, it doesn't look safe. We're pirates. Let's open it. Like, and it's obviously.
That's just like yeah.
Like,
That's
come
just
on,
like
Sora.
it's just his like charm.
I do
It's
feel
like you're supposed to save the world, and this is how stupid you are.
I do feel like that with each game, Sora's definitely changes when it comes to goofiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Axel speaks about. Oh. Okay, so this is after the world. I get it. All right.
The climax of that story, where you have to go and you have the 2 ships, like that was phenomenal.
And fighting
With the
Davy
Kraken.
Jones was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, the first human boss that you had to
I
fight.
really think a lot of the voice acting for the Caribbean is kind of weak. Keira Knightley.
The only one that was
Like,
the
there-
actual person was like the
Gibbs.
ship. Yeah.
Gibbs. Yeah.
No, that impression of Jack was great.
I think like some of them are good, and I think the guy who does Will Turner is good. Orlando Bloom is good. I think Keira Knightley's is really bad.
Yeah.
Keira Knightley.
Even her character model, like her face was like more blocky on the edge for like her sharp jawline. But the end part after you beat Davy Jones and you get that cutscene of like Will stabbing the heart and all that other stuff, but you have Sora, Donald, and Goofy jumping on Davy Jones and like trying to strangle him down while they're doing that whole interaction was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Plus, like the rain effects in there was so good.
Yeah, and we get a cool like CGI cutscene, or not CGI, but like pre-rendered.
Mm-hmm.
After this, Axel finally talks about Ven for the first fucking time to Kyrie. But we'll talk more about that later.
and how Kyrie wants to get nominated back.
Yeah.
I'm still writing letters to myself to not send to Sora. Even though that sounded more Mickey.
And then Vexen switches sides, and I was like, this is horseshit. I was like, no way. I was like, him?
I was very surprised.
I was like, out of all people, like, yeah. I thought it was really... And then he gets eventually gets Demix to
Get involved.
and I was
Well,
like, wow.
They're put on the bench, so they're not doing anything else.
Yeah.
He was constantly playing guitar in like his cutscenes too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. They were like tuning it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of... I ended up liking those, like, that dynamic, how they switch sides, and he's the one who, like, frees Ansem the Wise and stuff, and, you know, gets him, you know, reunites him with the Enzo, and they start making the replica, which is cool. Last Disney World, San Francisco. Events are after the movie. We have Replica Riku with Riku's heart for Kingdom Hearts 1, who's dubbed Dark Riku.
Yeah, which
I
is
thought
probably
it was cool.
That probably became the most confusing part because you also had the point where like Riku was already talking to himself.
Well, he's already talking to Replica Riku, and that's how he gets a haircut.
And I'm like,
it was kind of the time based, really, because that character was really time travel, like his replica and all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You have the story of this one is Baymax getting Dark Baymax back.
I haven't.
The one that was lost.
I still haven't seen Big Hero 6, but from what I've heard, that actually seems like a good like continuation of the original movie.
And the way they put the plot of the movie of this in, of like you're gonna like, it had me emotional because it's like, no, you're gonna have to sit here and destroy Baymax in front of his best friend, and like he's gonna have to watch this.
Yeah. Evil Baymax looks like Dark Knight Cecil.
Baymax?
What?
I thought you. Never mind.
I was probably just speaking quick, but yeah. So Baymax looks like Cecil's from Final Fantasy IV.
Yeah.
And like his like dark version looks like his Dark Knight like outfit. I don't know.
He also had like that claw made out of the
bots. Yeah.
Microbots.
Sora didn't know what a fist bump was. He learned that day. He goes,
he's learning.
So good. So Riku, Dark Riku is creating hearts from data, which is like Baymax's chip, and that's why he's kind of there.
This is where you get that cutscene where Sora has the
yeah.
Because the other big hero characters need to learn how to adapt and fight in different ways than what they're used to and all that other stuff.
And the
so
data,
he's using that and
I thought
shooting
that was
guns
cool.
and doing
the data from Recoded is in this level too. Who is that? I don't know who that is. Keyblades. Wheel of Fate from Pirates. Fucking
that was great.
Love it. Love it. It's my favorite one.
It was overpowered.
And then Nano Gear from this one.
Because you can also teleport with it, with the spear mode. And then, like, it reminded me a lot of Final Form.
It was a lot
from
of fun.
Cage 2.
How?
Just, like, how mobile and how, like, your attacks always seem to be circling around you and just protecting you. But, like, you're just, like, gliding and attacking this whole time. How fluid it was.
Maybe I just didn't notice. Are you gliding when you have the flag?
No, I didn't. Not the flag. It's more the spear.
Really?
Yeah, because the spear is just so easy to slide from place to place, and then you have like that teleport one where you have it come out of the ground, but then you teleport above and then slam down on them like that. Final Form.
And then we have Nano Gear, which is pretty cool.
That was pretty cool, like a glider sort of type of scenario.
Yeah. We didn't really talk about all the situation commands with the characters. There's a ton, and I think they're all cool. But the worst one is the rocket.
I didn't like how I didn't like how gimmicky the final boss in Big Hero 6 was. With you're flying on Baymax and have to defeat Dark Baymax, and you're basically just shooting him the whole time.
It's just easy, you know. Yeah. It all goes back to this game just being fucking.
I remember back to seeing the first concept art for that. It seemed like Army of Heartless, and you're flying trying to defeat Dark Baymax.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
definitely downscaled a bit, but it was
really all I had to say on that. And then after this, it's all ending stuff. I'm trying to think of anything else we really missed, but I feel like we kind of hit everything.
So out of all the Keyblades that were gotten, which one? I guess we can talk about Keyblades now. Because you don't really get any more.
Besides Starlight, and we can include that, but I don't think that's anyone's favorites. Do I have to pick one?
What'd you rock most of the time then?
I switch it out all the time.
Yeah.
See, I never was switching between. Like, I used the Ever After until I got the Port Royal one, and then just use that.
One thing I really liked about this game is, unlike the other games, I feel like it makes you use all the Keyblades. In like Kingdom Hearts 1, like every other Kingdom Hearts, like if you get a weak Keyblade, you're probably not using it, you know?
Yeah.
And like I feel like there's a
Plus,
lot
you can level them up.
there's a lot of incentive to either level them up or use them all. Use them all and check out all their situation commands, and there's a lot of like different mechanics with them.
They wanted to make sure that you did.
And you can use 3. So you're using 3 at the same time, so you can use weaker ones.
They wanted to make sure that you don't stick with just one weapon during the entire time.
I mean, you can. Like, with like the ending of the game, I use Kingdom Key the whole time. Because, like, the immersion factor. Like somebody, I was on Reddit, and somebody was like, you don't know how really goofy it is when you're using Favorite Deputy, like, at the end of the game. I'm just like, yeah. I was like, exactly.
Yeah, it does look weird.
Yeah, you gotta use it. Alright.
So,
Ending
I
time.
guess with this, you could start with, like, we haven't talked about any gummy ship stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's talk about the gummy ships.
So we can go ahead and kind of go into that, because then you get the whole new area.
Yeah, 'cause
of
we're about to talk about
Keyblade Graveyard.
Aqua stuff. Yeah. Before we get to the Keyblade
The
Graveyard.
gummy ship, I definitely did like this new mechanic. It definitely, the whole
I do like it, yeah.
exploration type of stuff.
I think it's cool. There's a lot going on out there, more collectibles. I do like Kingdom Hearts 2, I think a little better. I'm
The
not sure.
donut ship still worked for the most part.
Did you use it?
Yeah. Did that as of like making the square and making the center hollow.
I haven't even touched the shipbuilding yet.
I haven't.
Oh
I
no!
haven't
So
done ship
that'd
either.
be the way to go, and then you just stack up all the Blizzagas and the
guns.
Not Thundagas.
Do you do the same thing for the mini gummies?
No, that I put the radars on, so you actually have like health bars, and then you also, like, I do fire ragas and as many of the small little, what is it? Cockpits. That way you have more power from those.
Yeah, I haven't touched editing ships. I've just bought them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get to it. I don't really mess with the editing too much anyway. It's pretty grand for people who want to do it. Like I've seen like some cool like designs. Like somebody made the Millennium Falcon,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
I saw a Zigbar one.
Was this gun?
No, it was the 2 weapons were his guns, and then it had like his face and like an eye patch, and I'm like, this is dope.
That's awesome.
It was shared by the Kingdom Hearts Twitter.
I do like Kingdom Hearts 2 gummies. I think a little better. I don't know. I feel like those those levels are just epic.
That fast-paced epicness definitely couldn't replicate that.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, the fast pacedness of it. But I do like it. It's there if you want to mess with it, and if you really don't, you can really skip it over.
There is a secret boss fight.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's the castle. There's a bunch of them.
Now there's one that's like worthy of a trophy though. I thought last
there's
night
a
that you
secret
ran to
trophy
that.
I haven't gotten to that one yet.
with that, and then there's also the one which is what we were leading into with the Keyblade Graveyard of like getting out of that, and then you have to like fight these 4 separate bosses, and then an ultimate boss comes out, and that's another thing.
Oh, cool.
Oh boy.
All right. Yeah, I haven't gotten to that yet. And actually, just don't tell me what the secret boss is.
No.
I don't know what it is at all. So don't tell me.
I've
That's the only thing we're not talking about. I mean, we'll talk about what the boss is and if it was easy.
Oh, you don't even know like.
No.
It's nothing
But
surprising.
so you know a battle gate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how you get him.
Yeah.
You can tell me how to unlock him. I just don't know who
the
he
last
is.
battle gate is the secret boss.
Oh, okay.
Because
Cool.
there's the secret answer reports. There's only 13, but there's 14 gates.
Unless you want to count those Flan as secret bosses.
Yeah, sort of.
Doesn't
Oh, let's talk about the flans. You like that? Like, we're kind of bringing back white mushrooms.
No, because you have
to.
to. Well,
They're cute.
just
They're cute.
they don't tell you the score you need. You have to base it off the reaction. So
Yeah.
you're still trying to figure out what that was. And then on top of that, if you needed specific ingredients for Little Chef, then you have to go and do those mini games over and over because they're only for those mini games. Like that became tedious.
The mini games weren't that bad personally. I thought the majority of them were fun.
I really liked the Hercules one, but it was just too stiff. I felt like the Arendelle sledding was a better version of that. The one where you had to stack basically teacups in Toy Story was fine. You had to do basically a photo shoot with the flan from
in Corona.
Corona.
A photo shoot.
The Caribbean one was probably my favorite.
That was the
actually.
best.
Yeah,
cannons.
where you have four cannons, and you have the
that's in
bell in the
trailer.
center.
Yeah.
And you, if you ever needed to just clear the board, you'd hit the bell and all
Yeah,
that.
just looking at those flames making me crave fruit, man.
I kind of like their design. They're cool.
Made me look up the things that have like the frozen sugar or the sugar with the torch on top. What's that thing called?
Creme brulee.
Yeah, that's what they reminded me of. Creme brulee.
Yeah, they kind of look like creme brulees. All right, let's get into it.
Now we get into it.
So, all right, ending time. Let's get Aqua. Let's stop fucking around, guys. Let's go get Aqua. So Riku is failing with Mickey.
The power of waking.
In the darkness, and Sora goes to help him out, and we do. So
Since you mentioned that, let's actually touch upon that. One of the big things Sora's trying to get is this power of waking. We don't know exactly what it is. Suppose he's going to bring people back, though.
Wakeboarding.
you heard it here. So
Extreme sport.
So yeah, Sora essentially finds out that Riku's in trouble, or they lost communication with him and Mickey, and they're getting fucked up
And so
by
you
the
fight
Dark
as
Tides.
Riku against the Dark Tower, and then
Demon Towers. That's what
Demon
they're
Tower.
called. Yeah.
And your reaction command near the end is Sora.
Is it?
Yeah, it says, and you press triangle, and
Do
then
I?
it
I don't think
starts
I.
that cutscene.
I don't think I remember
I
that.
don't remember that.
Maybe you just saw it and you hit it, and
Yeah, because like
Maybe you're right.
it says Sora, and you press triangle.
he does
and-
kind of come out of nowhere.
And then, like, that glimpse of light comes, and then Sora just comes down like a badass.
yeah,
and just blocks.
and then
it.
you do the Dream Drop Distance Keyblade thing. I thought that was really
That was
cool reference, and then you fight.
But then it's also weird because you probably pull out the last Keyblade you use of like favorite depth.
Yeah,
Mine
I
So it's
was-
like you go
mine
from
was-
Aqua's Keyblade.
Yeah, mine was the ship one.
Mine was the with a
and you're
fade,
just
yeah.
like, I mean, okay.
Anti-Aqua, that theme is amazing. We haven't really touched on the music, but like all the remasters and like reinterpretations of all the songs from the old game are fucking awesome. And Anti-Aqua's theme is one of them, where it's Phantom Aqua from 0.2 and Aqua's theme just kind of like this and with this like operatic section, and it's like fucking like Dark Souls music almost. I fucking love it, and that fight is easy.
Yeah.
And it's literally like copy paste Phantom Aqua
pretty
from
much.
0.2. Really fun. Like the fight. Aqua's free.
And then it's
That's
time
it.
to go get Ven.
Yeah. So
Which they actually make playable for like 10 seconds.
dude, I love playing as Aqua that part, but we'll get there. So yeah, Vexen. This is when Vexen talks to D-Mix and gets him on his side. Also, Saix seems to be
Wavering.
wavering is a good way to put it. And there was another like traitor, and I think he was it, but he doesn't really like come out, but like he's clearly like not on say North Side.
Yeah.
Anson the Wise is reunited with Enzo and the other apprentices, which was really cool. We haven't really talked about Dylan or Alias.
They don't really have any lines. They just simply look around the castle, try and find people.
Yeah,
But
and
they're
then
there.
yeah, and then Demix supplies the vessel. Now
Hey, we got
A vessel.
now we're at Castle Oblivion, which gets turned back into Land of Departure.
I was
the
surprised by that.
best looking cutscene.
I was really surprised
Of like
by
that
that.
transformation.
I was,
Really
I was
cool.
thinking we were going to go inside and find the chamber, but
And leave. I didn't think she was going to turn it back either. I thought we were just going to get him and leave. I didn't really actually ever think about, like, oh, she's going to, like, turn it back. It's cool that, like, and then the way the castle, like, shifts back, I was like, dude. I was like, cool.
Yeah,
I didn't really know that, like, the Land of Departure castle was, like, it, like, was the same thing.
transformative.
Yeah.
And then Aqua has to take on Vanitas. You play as her.
Dope. Fuck it. Dude, when she pushes him back and puts us the shield, I'm like, oh, I was like, yes. I was like, yes. Fucking yes. I was like so hype. I really like playing as
What
her.
was Vanitas' quip in this one? Because the last one was too slow. What was it this time?
Too slow. I don't know.
Gotcha.
No, says that in Birth by Sleep. I'm not sure because I didn't verse him that long because he wasn't hard.
Yeah. But he had something, and it's like, it was basically like a smart aleck thing. Instead of too slow, it was something else. But
Dude, and that we get to hear some more dialogue and stuff. Sora wakes Ven.
by
She kinda
going to
loses.
the heart of
Dive to the heart.
dive
Yeah.
to the heart,
Yeah.
and then it unlocks to be, instead of his Sora stained glass, it was
Ven
Ven's-
gets released. Don't know if the other two get released as well, but yeah.
Yeah, and then Hey, I'm Ventus.
Aqua!
Hey, shake the handshake moment was really.
They
cool.
don't even question it until they get to the tower.
Oh yeah. Then okay. So then we get back here. 7 Guardians are united. Axel makes the most meta fucking references, and he's like, "Yeah, you know what? Hey, Ven, do you remember me? Yeah, you know what? I never told Roxas that he looked like Ven. What a go figure, right?" And then he's like, "Yeah, now we all know each other, and we know each other's from. And now, oh yeah, Kyrie forgot that Aqua saved her from Hollow Bastion. I mean, that makes sense. She was little.
Even the
She
characters are
didn't-
confused
She didn't
about
understand. It was like, now that we've all
Do
made
you remember
introductions.
me, Kyrie? Kyrie.
I thought that was really... I'm like, that makes sense, though. I mean, if
Yeah.
she was a kid, she might have forgotten something like
I don't
that.
remember half the shit from when I was 4, though.
I do.
Do you? You
Bits
don't.
and pieces.
You've told me you don't remember 9/11.
I can remember as far back as I was 2.
Well, good for you. It's not everyone else can. Yeah, so it's kind of like, how does everyone know each other? Who is Aqua to Kyrie? And like Aqua remembers her, and then Aqua remembers Sora and Riku from the island, and that Terra had passed the Keyblade to Riku, and we get all this information. Maleficent's still looking for the black box and talking about the Keyblade War and stuff.
The only people missing are Roxas, Naminé, Terra, and Shion.
And we get that in between, so the interval before they go to the Keyblade Graveyard. Axel's talking to Syx. We get the Lost Girl stuff. We really don't know what that is. Also, we get an explanation of Axel's apparently a big crier, and that's why he has like tear stain tattoos. I was like, interesting. I was like, okay. I was like, sure.
Is this when... No, he doesn't make that quip there.
What?
That comes later.
What?
It's like, we may be...
We'll get back to it.
Yeah, it was like his... like really meta thing of like, oh, at least we're failing in style or something.
So they were apprentices to Ants and the Wise in a way. Like they were given that mission, but like they weren't like scientists.
They weren't like they were. You wouldn't know that they were apprentices.
And then we get the replica Riku scene.
As if the replica Riku is like living in him.
Yeah, and he's like, having his moment with himself. And Kyrie's like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Then the fucking Palpoo.
So I'm like, does anyone have to be see this?
You were so pissed off by that.
Dude, I wasn't pissed. I love the Palpoo food scene. It's awesome. Like, I totally forgot about it. We haven't had that. When's the last time I talked about the Palpoo fruit? Kingdom Hearts 1?
Oathkeeper in Kingdom Hearts 1?
Like, they barely talk about it in Kingdom Hearts 2. It's not really, like, a thing they, like, bring back up. And, like, when they share it, I was just like, wow. I'm like, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Like, that's good. I just wanted them to hook
It's
up.
good, but then it's Kyrie.
It's Kingdom Hearts.
I just wanted them to, like, fucking make out.
They show affection different ways.
The
in Kingdom
Kyrie
Hearts.
plot in this is so...
It's kind of lame.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
It's not that I don't like it, but, like, she's not used at all.
It's the same thing every story.
Okay. Keyblade Graveyard. We're here. We did the gummy thing. This is it.
Run into the old man.
Yep. 1K Heartless Battle. I just called it. We get that.
You get the Heartless Shadow Hurricane. Because it's not a tornado.
It's
It's way worse than
Demon
this.
Tide.
Yeah,
Tide.
but it's so...
And
No, on the grander scale.
Oh, yeah. The fucking
It's like a fucking hurricane.
calamity. Well, not yet. That's after.
Yeah.
You're forced to fight Terra Xehanort.
Yeah, so
Wow.
Terranord is their 13th. And Ven gets fucked up. Axel gets fucked up.
Everyone pretty
Donald
much.
uses Zeta Flare. He gets
Yeah, but
fucked
then
up.
everybody's reaction time is super slow. Like Aqua just lets him attack, Vin doesn't even move. It's just he attacked us. He's the bad guy. What? And
Well,
it's just like
I think it was the fact that like she doesn't realize. Like I think it's still like
she's still off put that it's him.
Terra. Yeah,
But it's like at this point you know.
and like. No, we don't. We don't know.
She was pretty. She's like, no, that's
Oh,
not
she
Terra.
knew, but like I don't think no one else had seen Terra Xehanort. You know.
But his hair turned white right in front of them, and then like everybody else is just like so off put that they're being attacked, and then the demon tide comes in and just takes them one by one, and nobody's doing anything about it except for Riku.
That reaction time was odd, I do admit.
I think and like
those scenes
Sora,
are so
I think
strung out.
Sora's reaction and all that makes a lot of sense. He's so like fucking put off that everyone just fucking dies.
Everyone's not doing anything. He's like, hey, we're fighters, right?
I didn't even interpret it as death at the first.
Also,
part anyway.
Goofy like fucking blocking Terra Xehanort.
The one
Dude, that was so cool.
It seemed like Donald just pulled the ultimate out of his ass.
Zeta Flare, dude. Oh my god.
And I'm like, where's this been the whole time? Like, come on.
Dude, he's powerful, man. Don't
Like, if you
he's the
could
core
commit
magician.
suicide and we can cure you back to life, use this every fight.
And then we get the Sora scream, which was just like,
Ah!
oh, fuck it, and he's crying, and Riku's trying to hold off the tide.
You
He
know
dies.
that's not true.
And
You don't believe
and
that.
then we go to
And then
the aptly named Final World.
Yeah, Sora gets killed.
Probably the
Everyone's-
worst font type in the game.
Everyone's dead. On that fated land, darkness prevails, and light will
Then you
inspire.
had Chichiribi.
But they don't give up. Sora runs in the Chithari, pieces himself back
Chithari.
together.
Yeah, so the final world essally,
It's purgatory.
Cheerthy.
The way that thing apparates when it comes down with a little. That thing creeped me out so much.
Did you not know of him before that?
I knew he was from.
Did you watch Back Cover?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I knew he was from like Union Cross and Union and the
Yeah.
non-cross and all that other stuff.
So Sora's essentially in like heaven. We're
Yeah,
all-
but
all
like
dead.
the way he just apparates and comes down as like that star beam was so like shrilling to me for some reason. Anyway,
I
so-
was just before we move on, I was like so blown away that everyone died in like 7 seconds.
Did you get the? Oh, go ahead.
Like just the fact that like everyone dies so quickly and like every
It's
and
not
like
quickly.
it wasn't like yeah, I feel like it was. We get
No,
on there
the scenes-
and he was like, yeah, you're not even gonna fight the 13.
The
and you're gonna die
like the
before that."
reaction shots of every person was so slow. Like they waited 10 seconds. All right, let's go to the other people. Their reactions for 10 seconds.
Well, like in the
But like, yeah, how
it-
quickly they all went down, but nobody put up a fight except for Riku. And it's just like, all right, so we're just gonna have a reaction shot. All right, cool. 10 seconds on this. All right, so here's Axel in the group. They're gonna be here. Oh, and the Demon Tide took them. And it's just like,
I mean,
you linger for a second, then you cut to Sora.
I don't think it's slow though. That's just like
That
for
was
effect.
the
They're
slowest-
just trying to make it dramatic.
But it was the slowest
That everyone's
pace.
getting cut down one by one in one shot, like Terra Xehanort.
But
is
to
just
make
that
it
strong.
believable, you figured it'd be a quick swoop of it, and he's just like, oh crap, we're all like, everything's gone, just like that. Like everything we're trying to fight for, and now I have nobody here to back me up. We've lost.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
instead,
okay.
it's just like lingering on
So
everything.
let's go back to Final World. You pretty much piece Sora back together, and then you have to try and piece everyone else back together, just chasing around this weird
So did you-
Grim Reaper-esque Heartless.
But with that,
The
did you
cutscenes.
get the extra cutscene?
I didn't get nominees. I had to look that up after.
I had to
the
look
fact.
them up too, yeah.
Because you had to
One
like
with-
interact with every like
Every star.
shadow.
The
star
one
or
with
whatever.
what's her name?
We don't know.
It's either Ava or Strelitzia. One of the two. Someone from Union Cross. You have a cutscene with that.
That's who it's believed.
That's
to
the
be.
one I had. Not nominees, but those are two missable cutscenes from that part.
But yeah, you're making the world manipulate. Sora's made of water, like at the beginning, or like the Heartless was at the beginning. And then you have to like add. I like how they actually show him filling up into color as
Yeah,
you
that was
collect
cool.
more shadows and stuff.
Yeah. And then eventually, you're good and you go back and you have to essentially do the same thing for your friends or kill this lich that has trapped their hearts. And Jiminy's there with you. He survived.
You get it done, and then you literally go right back to where you left off. Like
Yeah,
before
you
the
basically
attack.
time travel back to where.
Yeah,
Things
I
were not
kind of
alright.
liked that whole like going through the worlds and listening to Destati. It reminded me a lot of like Kingdom Hearts 1. When
Yeah.
you do at the end of the world,
Yeah.
you do the same thing. Really cool.
That's probably what they were
That
going for.
was probably the most annoying boss fight because he could instantly like teleport.
He
and,
was
like,
tough.
leave
I
without
mean, like
looking
he
at
was
him.
just. I feel like he was just challenging.
The
fight.
worst one was it's so hard to
Corona?
lose him in the Corona one
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
swamp area.
Yeah.
That was the most annoying.
So yeah, we save everyone, and we do it by diving. So we're going into like sleeping worlds
Mhm.
or sleeping hearts.
So you're
Sleeping
basically
hearts.
waking all the hearts in
Yeah.
a sense.
And then young Xehanort kind of explains that to you is like, you've done this before and you're doing it again, and like you're so like stupid. And he's like, yeah, these are sleeping worlds. Like you're diving deeper and deeper into this like dream.
Yeah.
It feels like something bad's gonna happen.
There's
now.
no saving you. So what?
So we get back there, pretty much rinse and repeat, except before their attack, the Lingering Will appears. Nominate tipped him off, so they all get to fight. Actually,
Yeah. So that explains it. That makes a lot of sense because I was like, how does Lingering Will know to go there? And it's, well, I mean, he is there, but like,
And
it's
with that
nominated.
nominate scene, you
Yeah,
see that.
yeah. Dude,
It's
and when he
hinted
shows
that
up
he'll show
and
up.
Rage Awakened and he's like, I've been waiting years for this. And then he fucking
He
uses like
uses the whip blade.
dude,
and
I'm
then
like,
he also
that is
pulls
so
out
cool.
the
That was
rocket
awesome.
launcher
that was
part.
so fucking cool that they paid homage to the Lingering Will fight in Kingdom Hearts 2, and they actually used those. You know, they didn't. He wasn't just fighting with
That's kind of one of the
what's
most
that Keyblade?
ends of the earth.
Yeah, thank you.
It's kind of one of the most iconic fights. Like most people consider it one of the most difficult battles, but personally, it's one of the most funnest battles.
Versing who? Xehanort?
Lingering-
Terra Xehanort?
Lingering
Oh,
Will.
Lingering Will. It's I think it's annoying.
I choose it.
You did the thing where you jump.
I did the jump slash.
After that, he fights, and he kind of fucks Terranort up. Sora versus the Demon Tide, and then the
Union Cross.
The Union Cross moment. So
What's that character's name?
Ephemir?
Ephemir.
Ephemir? Yeah.
That was genius what they did.
And then
No, I knew
all,
of it.
all the names from
Yeah.
the game,
The
like the
leaderboards.
mobile game. I was like,
That was
that's
genius.
so cool.
I remember when they did that announcement how they were going to implement people from that game into Kingdom Hearts 3. I never would have thought that.
But then you also
Sorry.
you get all the names. The one part where you actually go inside of the demon hurricane, whatever, tide, you don't know that you can move left or right. So
Mhm.
like I died because I didn't know that you could dodge.
Yeah,
those
no, I didn't know that
darkness
either for a
balls.
while. I was like, oh, I'm like almost dead. I'm
Like-
like, oh, you can move left and right.
I'm like, wait, I was getting hit. I was just tapping the
Iron-
crap out of
Ironic that
trouble.
my ringtone is the Gummy
Yeah.
Phone
They're gonna be
ringtone.
calling you.
Yeah. My dad was calling me. I just texted him.
But yeah, like just
Dude,
seeing
yeah, and the
that's
Union
when
Cross
Starlight shows
finisher
up.
with all the like ancient Keyblades like coming from the Keyblade graveyard. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, and you're riding on Starlight
It was
Yeah.
genius.
And that's when you get Starlight if you don't
Yeah.
have it already.
if you don't have the.
All right. So
Premium.
now we're in the labyrinth. We're versing everyone. So did you go to Dark? Did you guys go
The
to
second part of the Keyblade word. The way we leave it though, don't we?
What? We walk into the labyrinth and we see Xehanort with his 13 and he
we
makes
run
it.
into all 13 and they make the labyrinth.
Which I got screenshots of that shit. Fucking dope. Yeah, what are you confused on?
So, go there, lose. You
Come
go through,
back.
go through the end of the world, and then you go through all the different other Disney worlds. Come back, do the Union Cross thing.
And then you
And
run
then-
into the 13, he creates the labyrinth.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Okay, so did you go the Dark Riku, Zigbar, Ansem one?
Yeah, I
or
went
did you-
that one first.
Yeah, that's the one.
I
went to.
was like, sorry, Mickey.
Yeah, fuck you.
I'm-
These guys are more important.
I'm going
plot-wise.
family with Riku
I
because
definitely felt that was unique, like how they split these characters up, put them against certain other characters, and then you have to take them out one by one.
Yeah, so.
all evaporate but one.
Oh, wait, no. No. I missed
Yeah,
it.
you have to
no,
say
no.
there was something.
Yeah, Dark Riku shows up and,
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
makes
right.
all the Heartless.
Yen Sid.
And then Yen Sid shows up, and you're just like, what the fuck? He's finally here.
Yeah, because I was like this. I was like, it felt like it took longer to get to.
Yeah, that dude. That
the
when
labyrinth
he
part.
parts the Red Sea, and he's just like, fucking go.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Donald and Goofy were like, we'll stay here, and we'll help Master Yen Sid, and we're gonna.
But
There you go.
that,
wrote
that
it down.
leads to a great part.
Yeah, and then Master Xehanort summons a Keyblade, but he doesn't have it just yet, like fully.
releases the labyrinth. We all get to fight all of them.
So split paths, Riku and Mickey, and then I went Riku and you verse Ansem and Dark Riku and Zigbar. Ansem flees, and then I had Sora and Riku fight Riku and Zigbar. Dark Riku
Yeah, the
defeated
answer
first.
one, like you weld on him for like 3 seconds, and then it goes to a cutscene. I'm like,
Yeah, and then he disappears. I like how you can kill them in like whatever order you want, and the cutscenes happen.
Yeah, but sometimes if there's a certain order.
Yeah, there is. You're right.
Yeah.
So you're
Sometimes
you're
there is a
supposed to when you fight Terranort and Vanitas.
We'll get to that.
Vanitas
Yeah,
is
we'll get
last.
that. We'll get that.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Okay, so
Because I did that one out of order.
So Riku defeated first. Replica Riku destroys Dark Riku. Riku leaves the vessel for Naminé. That's what happens there.
Yeah,
The replica.
it's
Yeah.
like we'll leave that replica for someone else. What? You don't want it? Oh, nominate.
Yeah, give it to her. I love her. Zigbar second reveals he was promised no name and can wield it. Dies
He's like,
for now.
Well,
he's like, just because you can't have a keyblade, who said I couldn't hold a keyblade?
Cool moment though.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
And
for
then
what
he doesn't
comes
die. He just pretends
to die.
He falls
we'll
off.
get,
I think.
We'll get to that.
Next.
We'll get to that.
Seeing how everybody else evaporates and up into a beam,
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Next is Mickey versus Xemnas, Luxord, Larxene, and Marluxia. Xemnas flees, powers up Luxord. Luxord traps Mickey.
Again, this is similar to like the Kyrie thing that we're gonna get into later. But like Mickey, beginning of fight, automatically out. Just like, hey, he's sucked into a card. He's supposed to be like more powerful than Sora and like the king and all this other stuff. But instantly at the beginning of that fight, you're going up against Thrym. It's like, yeah, all right, Mickey, let's do this. And he gets sucked into the card. And he's like, Lux is like, oh, he ain't got him.
Yeah. It is kind of weird. I will admit. Like, it feels like everyone's just getting fucked up.
I felt pretty satisfied with their fights. Like, even
Yeah, the fights were satisfying.
Yeah, because you get rid of Luxord, he has the thing going around the ring, and you have to find out which one's him.
So I beat Luxord first, and I feel like you're supposed to.
And then he releases Mickey.
Yeah, so he gives you the wild card, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Mickey returns. Larxene dies second for me.
You'll need this for the future.
And she was like, oh, yeah, I was just along for the ride, in reference to Marluxia, because she knows him from Daybreak Town, and they're close. And she's kind of like, she doesn't, like, cave into you, but she kind of just, like, is like, yeah, whatever.
accepts it.
Mm-hmm.
And Marluxia dies, and he reclaims
Still annoying to fight.
Reclaims his identity.
Probably see him eventually in the future.
Yeah.
Same with her.
So next was Kyrie and Axel. So that's versus Syx and Shion, who we don't know is Shion at the time. Axel loses Keyblade because he sucks. Roxas returns. Dope moment where we see Oathkeeper.
You call this a
Oblivion.
Keyblade?
Dude, he just catches it. But like,
Shion breaks free. She tries to save him.
As goofy as that is, like, I think it really shows that like Axel and Roxas or Axel and Kyrie do not have enough time to like prepare, and like they're really not good. But like I would have loved to seen a scene where like you played as one of them and you fought together or something.
But
like
she
that.
does all this training the whole time during the whole game, and then instantly gets snatched up in like 2 seconds of fighting.
She gets taken by Xemnas.
Like it makes no sense. But yeah, it makes a good payoff at the end of this section. But like at the beginning, you're like, sweet, I'm actually gonna get to fight with Kyrie. Like
Which
this
you do
is
for a
like
little bit.
Yeah, but it's only like 2 minutes, and then you get rid of someone.
It would have been so cool if like we all like at some point like we're fighting all 7 versus all 13. That would have been wild.
Yeah,
Like it kind of sucks because I would have loved to take in their battles a little more, but they're so quick. But they are really fun.
And you could have like up to extra party members. So I'm like, oh cool, we're gonna have Kyrie, Riku along with Mickey,
I thought that was eventually what it was going to be like. If
Donald and Goofy.
If there were something similar like the Coliseum where you could like choose your character.
Yeah, but it's just.
All right, back to it. So basically, Roxas and Shion, they come to help Sora fight against Syx.
Yeah, and I guess Shion was like being controlled, and she kind of breaks free of that because of seeing Axel get fucked up, and Syx just sitting there watching. So Syx versus Shion, Sora, and Roxas. Syx dies. Was
it weird that Shion's attacks were similar to Syx's at the beginning? Like they
Yeah,
both had
she
that
was-
slam blue
Well, she was
wave?
being like controlled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Syx dies, and we find out he was jealous of Axel and like his friends. I was like, that makes sense because he does kind of like spite him.
It's basically like when your high school friends meet your college friends. It's like, we were friends first, man. Like,
Yeah,
Dude,
pretty much.
Yeah, but like, and you do see a lot of that in 358 and in 2, and like their interactions, like they're very like you can tell they're friends and they're buddies, but like
he's like, I was
there's like
jealous.
something there, and I think we kind of get that finality.
But
with
you
that.
get the
And
Roxas
then
reveal.
Xemnas runs away.
Yeah, you get the Roxas reveal, and he's holding the 2 Keyblades.
Yeah.
That was the best entrance.
Next up, Aqua Ven versus Terranord and Vanitas. Is Terranord supposed to be first or Vanitas?
I did it
Terranord.
first. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
I did Vanitas
I did
first.
Vanitas first. So
And it didn't do cutscenes until after I beat it.
Yeah, like
So-
it beat Terranord first. It stops, and then you have to go.
So
beat
for me-
Vanitas in order to continue.
Terranord falls first, Vanitas second. Terra was the fucking guardian. I was just like, wow.
I was
I didn't even
shocked.
She's
think
like,
I was
about
very
it.
trying to
surprised.
breathe.
Dude, yeah, and he's just like, fucking like, I'm breaking free.
The guy that does the timelines on YouTube, I can't think of his
Which
name.
one?
I saw a theory video that was like
he
way
did
before.
he did the
somebody
theory on it
theorized
before
that.
it even came out.
Dude.
I'll look up who it is.
I had a hunch after seeing Dream Drop Distance.
So cool. Such a cool point. Because it makes a lot of sense. He's with Terranord, and then he's with...
Everglow.
Everglow?
Yeah.
And he's with Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness. I'm like, it makes a lot of sense that he's the Heartless, or like this dark
That
form.
was probably the best reveal of the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
everything
then he's
else
like,
was plotted.
and what does
to
he
be-
say? He's like, he didn't wait years for this. And he's like, my friends.
I settled this, something like that.
And then he's like, Terra.
He's like,
and
it's
frees
something
him.
like, I've been waiting for my opportunity.
Yeah,
like,
and then
sitting in
and
the
goes
darkness.
back into his form. So that's cool. Terra's back.
Yeah.
And then Vanitas, we get the thing where like we see he's actually Sora, and like he's another one of those characters.
With that half shattered
Yeah.
helmet that looks so
and he
dope.
dude like so maniacal, so evil, so dark to the end. He's like, yeah, and they're both like Ven and like Sora just like, yeah, like you could have been light, but he's like, but I'm not. And he's like, I'm not. I'm darkness. Edgy. Fuck it, man. He doesn't give up. He's one of the only characters who really doesn't like fold.
Yeah.
A lot of them,
have like a self-realization moment.
besides Dark Riku and Zigbar, in a way, like they all like have like a realization moment and they kind of give up, which is I find really interesting with the organization members, that they like give up, or like they weren't on board with Master Xehanort's plan this whole time.
Not at all.
So
we finally get to it. We're joined with Riku and Mickey. We make our way towards the old man, Master Xehanort.
the fucking greatest boss theme.
And we had to fight.
Ever.
We had to fight all three: young Xehanort, Ansem, and Xemnas.
Yeah. So in my order to forge the final 4 keys, well 3. So for me, young Xehanort dies first. He doesn't really. He's another character who's like, I'm just gonna go back to my time, carry this shit out.
He's
fuck
just
you.
cocky.
I'm dark. Later. he doesn't like
Such a
fold.
teenager.
Ansem. Holy shit.
That monologue,
When
liked.
he's just like, I'm not really surprised. Your like darkness was not your greatest strength. You were always above it. And I'm just like, wow. I was like, holy shit.
That final monologue, I just loved. Continue seeking, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, because of the Secret of Darkness. And it's just like, it like that was just like, I had to like sit there and be like, holy shit. I was like, he really it's interesting, like their relationship. They really were like kind of respect each other, and like I feel like Ansem's more a part of him because Riku does like use darkness to his like strength, even though he doesn't like walk that path. He uses it as like a weapon. He doesn't push it away. He harnesses it, and I think that like Ansem's like that's like a full circle moment that like Ansem's just like, yeah, like I was never gonna beat you, and like you were always stronger. See ya. Keep doing you. Wise. Then Xemnas falls, and he kind of has another moment where he's like, yeah, I can feel, and like,
Talking about there's so much pain in living, and it's like, it must be hard, and like that was it.
Dude, I'm just like,
it's like
he gets it. Like I'm like I think as like one of those things is like maybe like he didn't have a heart in a way, or like really chose to just ignore his like
It was just
his heart essentially.
just really like just closure, like
Oh, dude, like really, just really cool moments, and he dies. Last part, Master Xehanort is apparently a portal in time. Or
is
like
this when did
like,
Donald and Goofy come back for
Yeah,
this?
they-
Yeah,
came
this
back.
is when they come back. They're having this conversation, and we're like,
No,
"Hey,
I'll do it myself. And it's like, no, we're here with you. And it's like, yeah.
of course one of the biggest surprises of all.
Kyrie?
Xehanort strikes her down.
dude, Kyrie just gets fucked up."
Hey, okay.
It sucks that she does have such a I think
We
you're
were-
being I think you're
we
being
were
a little
hoping for a bigger, but it didn't.
I think you're
happen.
being a little harsh, but I get what you're saying. She doesn't have a huge
She's
part to play.
always the scapegoat of like, oh, Sora's gonna meet his ultimate power because we have Kyrie.
It was cool if she
Every
actually
time.
like stood her own ground, but she really doesn't. But like again, like she doesn't really have like that much time to like fucking do that.
It does feel like something that could be touched upon in the future, but we'll get to that. Right now, we're talking about the Keyblade's been forged, everything's been done. The old Master Xehanort tries to use the Keyblade, turn Kingdom Hearts into darkness,
X gonna give it to you, Keyblade.
but everything goes bad. But then they try to stop him. They turn him. He apparently is a portal, like you were saying.
Yeah. So I think that's like a dream. Yeah, because he's traveled in time. So like I guess it's like his heart or his being is some sort of like bind or like base to that time travel thing. I think that's what I'm getting, which makes a lot of sense because he sends himself back like 3 fucking times.
Everyone that just was brought back, every single person is there trying to prevent everything from happening, while Sora, Donald, and Goofy go inside to try and stop him wherever he's coming from.
So we get to Skull Ed Kayam, which is Stairway to Heaven in Latin. 13 adversaries and their cool little armor. So I guess it's like, they're the final forms of like the 13 darknesses. And he says, one sky, one destiny, and I fucking lost it. I was like, oh my god, did he just fucking say that? You know the one sky, one destiny thing, the letter that Kyrie writes him in the Kingdom Hearts 2? It's the last line. And I'm just like, holy shit.
He knows.
He fucking knows. Oh, we totally glossed over when Ven and Roxas see each other.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh.
they can touch him.
Hey! Yeah. Cool. Let's see. Okay.
Twins.
I didn't really write a lot about the final battle, but we go from fighting the 13 guys, then fighting.
I thought you'd be able to traverse that world more.
It was cool that you actually got to walk around it a little bit. I was actually surprised by that, and that's the point of no return. That last save point is Skull Ed Kayam. Yeah, dude.
Then Master Xehanort turns into
armored Master
armored. With the goat armor.
Yeah, it's like a cartoon Disney version of something out of Paranormal Activity.
What?
Yeah, how many Paranormal Activities have you seen? It's like
none.
It's like the 4th one or something like that.
Oh, the goat.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
And then the fight keeps shifting. You have to battle him underwater.
It's too easy.
I thought I would hate, but
was
it's not
fun.
that bad.
This is all.
I'm like, oh crap, we're underwater.
This is all way too
Please,
easy.
no.
It's one. I think my biggest negative of this game is it's too fucking easy.
And then you actually fight him just no armor, just with the Keyblade.
Yeah, at the end.
You actually get turned into rage form. You have to.
And you
fight that way.
die, and then you come back.
Speaks through the speaker. I love that part.
Yeah. So I get. Who speaks through the speaker?
Donald and Goofy.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I guess it comes to the regular speakers if you don't have a PS4. But yeah, that whole final battle is just really long and like how I would have wanted. I would have appreciated if it was a little harder, but I do like the length. I feel like it is the final battle, and there's 3, 4 fucking forms, just like every other Kingdom Hearts game. And then you fight him, all the way at the top of the clock tower, and he has the Keyblade fully realized and fully powered up, and you're fighting it out with the fucking most epic boss battle music there is. You die and then you come back and yeah, I like how the one part, I don't think it's underwater, but you're forced into rage form, which is pretty cool, which we haven't actually talked about. It's rage form is essentially a second chance.
It's anti-form, so to speak.
Yeah, but you only get it when you're near death.
Yeah.
And then you go full health. And again, making the
baby mode,
making the game easy.
Yeah.
It's too risky though, personally.
Oh, even the Cupo coins that are in the shop?
coins.
Yeah.
Which is basically a continue without having to reload. I'm like, come on.
So we beat Master Xehanort. It's over.
Everyone's
comes
here.
Up. Everyone's here, just like Smash. Everyone's here.
Kingdom Hearts Ultimate.
Something I think was pretty obvious that Master Ericus was inside him, and
Was it obvious?
I think
actually,
so.
with that scene, it made me think if
it makes a lot of sense.
If the suited armor was Ericus for a second, because I ended up texting you about this.
Ericus,
I was like, was Ericus in the Lingering Will bodysuit whenever?
No.
So
the way I interpret it is when Terra's having that conversation with Master Xehanort at the end of Birth by Sleep, he realizes Ericus is inside him. That's why, and then calls him the Sly Fox, and that's what the reference is.
But you think about it, Terra is technically in Terranort as well as he's in that shadow figure. So since Ericus is in Terra's body, would he come out in the Lingering Will suit to not reveal that he's Ericus, but still defend everyone as a last?
You hear Terra in the Lingering Will suit though, so that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think
it's because of the reveal of him being in the shadow.
Mind you,
made me think that
all these 10 years he's still alive. Yeah. And I think that Ericus might have something to do with that, and his light being strong. And I kind of like at the end of the game where not that Master Xehanort. You kind of realize that, he really,
He admits defeat.
He admits defeat, but, he also, lost his way, a long time ago. And,
what was the revealing phrase that Terra said that he's like, oh, you.
I don't think.
He said something that.
He calls him.
He said like a particular phrase and messes it in, or it's like, it can't be.
You, Ericus, you sly fox. What's he say? No, he does say something because I just watched it recently again.
It was like, your light. It's something about light.
Is it
or
no?
It's not over. Was it
No,
something
light is. Light is more than meets the eye, because he tells him that in the chess game.
Yeah.
We actually didn't talk about that cutscene when they're before. Well, it's actually a great point to talk about it. So we get those scenes between Ericus and young Xehanort, and I really like how innocent Xehanort is. Like, you really like when you first hear him talk about the game, and like you think he's like really evil, and like they're both like polar opposites, light and dark, and like they're like having like a play game, but like again, the metaphor for the whole game is this chess.
And
game.
they're still trying to like pull one over on the other one. But
Yeah, and then when he Xehanort admits defeat, and like Ericus is really surprised, and he's like, "Yeah, I lost."
But then Ericus is just like, how do you take a step back in a chess game and then more show up?
What?
He had that one left. He's like, actually, it's still not over, because he said checkmate, and then he pulled back the Sora iconic piece, and then like 5 Guardians came up behind him, and I'm just like,
what kind of chess game is this? Yeah, but I really appreciated how like innocent they both were, but more so Xehanort, how just like
it was nice to see like a human side to him.
Yeah, I
Where
mean
it wasn't
they do make him very redeemable, because like he's like the ultimate evil. And like he even realizes it. It's like, yeah, like I lost my way, and like what he was trying to do is essentially use Kingdom Hearts to start over. Like that was the point. Like everyone, like basically, his reasoning was that like everyone is so like greedy and so idiotic, and like that's what's creating this darkness. So we need to go back to ground zero and start over. Kingdom Hearts is the first and the most ancient sources of light. I'm going to use that source of light to like destroy everything. And like, and he realizes like, and like even Sora's like, why do you think like it's you, like you're the one who decides that? Like, and he, in a way, Sora kind of talks him down to a point, and then Ericus kind of like really solidifies like, all right.
He hands Sora the Keyblade.
Yeah, that was such a, and like I like when he's like on the floor, and then he picks it up and like puts it in the ground and tries to like get up, and then that's when Ericus comes out and he like points it at him, and then he like takes it and like puts it down. And it's like, we're done. And it's like, oh yeah, really cool. They really made.
Don't they both evaporate in the light?
They go afterlife.
Yeah, dude, I thought it was really cool. They really made Xehanort redeemable. When I really didn't expect him to be,
I wasn't expecting him to be too crazy. Like, I was thinking there's going to be some crazy plot twist involving a certain guy in a black coat, but
yeah. And then we that's it. The end.
Sora runs off to try and find Kairi. Apparently, the guys are trying to warn him that it's too dangerous or something.
Even though you get the ending movie where he's there.
So at the end, also like, there's this whole thing that like, even when Sora, before he dies the first time, like he's like he lost his friends and like he lost like all his motivation, because that's a thing that I think with like Sora's character is really like important. Like he's not really strong like by himself. He's not the chosen one.
Yeah.
Like he like all his like power and all his like
it's from
like
my
inner
friends.
strength is from the people he has connections with, and I think that's like a huge arc through the entire game, and it really hits it home like at the end, especially with like looking at that through Ericus and like and again through Sora. Just like it like, and even Sora like as these organization members who like put him through hell and high water is like very just like sees the goodness in them, like really. I know it seems like gullible sometimes that he's so like trusting or so like willing to see like the good side of people, like
compassionate,
no matter what, but like that's his character. Like it is kind of dumb, because like some people are just like obviously evil, Zigbar being one of them. Like he even gives Zigbar a chance. He gives them all like some sort of chance, and he
doesn't mercifully strike them down.
Yeah, so we get to the end. Sora's looking for Kairi, goes off. We get the Disney folks in the Disney Castle, which is cool, from Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2. All the Twilight Town friends are together, which is awesome. So it's Roxas, Lee, Isa, Shion,
Lee
Hayner,
and
Pensino.
Shion's new look. Which
Yeah.
looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think they all look really cool.
Which I wish is like, why couldn't Lee look like this the whole game?
And I really like how Sayek's story kind of concludes, and he's like back with
Like
his
how
friends.
he's redeemed. Yeah.
Then you have Roxas with the Birth by Sleep crew. Because Ventus is playing Frisbee with
No,
Donald.
no.
Oh, we're not
going too
there
quick.
just yet.
Come on.
We're not there just yet.
Man.
Birth by Sleep, we're back to Land of Departure. You know, they kind of put Ericus' Keyblade as like a grave. And Ven and Shirthi have that moment, which if you played Union Cross, you know they're connected. What exactly is their connection other than the fact that they know each other?
It's assumed that every single key bearer has a Chirthi.
And he's his? That's what it is. Okay, because Union Cross is still going. So
It's still
kinda,
going.
It's kind of hard to say.
I was
background.
happy to hear that even after 3 came out, they weren't going to be done with Union Cross.
Nice background. That's my background.
We all have it.
Yeah. He's Kingdom Hearts 3 background, since nobody can say it. Namine gets a replica, as
Oh, yeah.
we knew.
Namine's
And then we get to
return.
the Destiny Island scene where
Pretty much
having
everyone
fun.
returns to the
Everyone
Destiny
is
Islands.
here. Everyone's here, except...
But then we
He's there.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
Quiet. Then we pan over to Kairi and Sora. Apparently, Sora disappears. Like we don't know what happened
Evaporate.
or how he got Kairi back.
He's
but
a gas.
we can only assume that maybe that's going to be touched upon in the future. Like
Liquid
exactly
Sora.
what happened.
I do think to some extent, you know, Sora sacrificed himself like he did in Kingdom Hearts 1 to
Or
bring her
maybe
back.
Kyrie has Sora's heart still or something.
Now, I think that maybe that whether it be DLC or a future installment that we'll play as Kairi, she's going to try and figure out a way to get him back, depending on what's going.
I mean, that's interesting.
Nintendo Switch exclusive.
I feel like
Buy
there's
another
a-
console to play a Kingdom Hearts game.
I feel like there's a lot going on in this ending, and you know,
and
it's
then there's of course the secret ending.
it's kind of hard to say. But yeah, I feel like Sora is gone for
Wait,
now.
the
For
secret
now,
ending or the
he's not
epilogue?
dead, but he's no one dies in Kingdom Hearts.
No one dies.
no one
He's
literally.
not with
No
the
one
crew.
dies.
For now, he's gone.
So we find out Zigbar is Lushu.
I
Lushu.
never would have
He
expected.
is one
that.
of the foretellers. Like
Now, I wonder if you could have figured that out by looking up voice actors.
No,
he's not voiced.
Nope.
Lushu isn't voiced in
he's voiced in back cover. It's not
Exactly.
the same act. He's not the same actor.
He's also a much younger he's also the original form of
He
himself.
said
too.
he said that he's passed through different bodies over the
Yeah,
years.
he does.
It was
say
just a thought because all I
that. No, yeah, you're,
all I
good
know
point.
of it is back cover. I'm like, I wonder if you look up the voice actors if this spoils it.
So yeah, and he has the box, which we've talked about all game, but
We
haven't
don't
seen
know what's inside
The
it.
orange
It's just-
box, the black box.
the orange box. He's Half-Life 3.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
It's in the box.
It's in the box. But like it really makes sense. Like once you look
you
at
also
it.
have Pete and Maleficent overlooking this whole ordeal.
And how
You're going too quick.
and how 4 of the 5 foretellers come to see him. I'm not sure if they're dead. Not sure if they're back.
Ava is the one who's not there.
the
What
worst
was
acted
Ava's-
one, the bear.
Her role was to
I
form
said,
the
yeah.
dandelions.
Yeah, she forms the dandelions. That's her role. And
As seen in Tangled.
and we still don't know whose role or what Lushu's role was.
It kind of was to just simply use
Like-
his Keyblade to watch, make sure everything's recorded in the book.
Yeah, or like make sure these events happen.
Mhm.
The big,
Um,
the big
He's
question,
like an overseer.
he wasn't allowed to use the
a non-meddling.
Yeah, like if you notice, like he never uses the Keyblade.
Like he was a second hand to a Keyblade
He
to
was
make
tr-
sure everything still went as planned.
He was trying to get back his Keyblade. He just went along with the ride.
and then that ride ended up helping get these foretellers back. Right.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if they're
And
back.
so now,
Don't know yet.
Yeah, like maybe they're like ghosts or something. But like,
don't know
what I
whether
think,
they were summoned
like
there,
when you
yeah.
think about it, like Zigbar being Lushu, and you're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He was literally there from the beginning, and like, what was he doing as an apprentice? He's not very smart. He never comes off as like an intellectual guy.
He was playing it. He was
yeah,
playing,
he's playing down.
Yeah, he's playing a role. Very,
He was playing Xehanort the
point.
entire time.
But
Yeah.
he does have that smart
because like he's the first one. He's the one who like initiates with Xehanort and like actually like sides with him before he's a nobody.
I
and
was
stuff.
I was actually considering exactly that he had some sort of ulterior motive because when it comes,
he clearly does.
when it comes to Union Cross and whatever other games, I don't see where the Keyblade comes into play. Maybe he was trying to get his hands on it.
Yeah, definitely. He's a power hungry dude. Like Zigbar's like, yeah, he's that kind of guy. So yeah, and then we get the the chess game reference.
All the pieces are now the dark pieces, like the Master of Masters and the Foretellers. Pretty much looks like Sora is going to go against them, assuming everyone else is going to be joining him.
So yeah, like because
it's
going to be the Foretellers versus
now their
Sora.
chess pieces updated.
I don't understand why though.
Wait, there's a new game we can play.
And then this goes into the secret ending with the Venom Rex stuff. We get a cutscene where Sora and Riku are in Shibuya, which is in Tokyo, which is in the world within view. And so it looks like they're in our world essentially.
I still gotta play that game, by the way.
And then we get this song that kind of sounds like Another Side, Another Story. That's like the song from the first secret ending when Riku's fighting Roxas and
also similar music tones to that of Final Fantasy 15.
So, Somnus, the main theme of Final Fantasy 15, is played when we go to Yuzora.
Yeah.
So there's something going on here,
so
it's really hard to tell.
I guess we can get into speculating.
And I think it is
later.
when the organization looking guy with the cloak.
The black coat.
I think it's a Master of Masters because like he would do that sort of thing.
At first,
He's
for some reason, I thought it was Dimix.
Okay.
Just a hand style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Dimix would make a good hand model, I guess.
The only one we haven't really seen is the Master of Masters. You know, he's the only.
But
one.
yeah, that's who after. Like,
and he disappears. We don't know what happened.
He's the one trying to orchestrate everything, pretty much.
Yeah, so I think that's who it is. But yeah, I think we're either getting teased DLC, but like also the fact that like Tetsuya Nomura was making Versus 13, and it was totally canned, and what 15 is now is really not what.
The question is
Versus 13 originally was.
I mean, it's obviously scrapped content. The question is it going to be Kingdom Hearts or is it going to be something else?
I think it's going to be Kingdom Hearts. I think.
What if it's the Kingdom Hearts Final Fantasy crossover, and it's just all Final Fantasy
You
stuff?
mean what it is already?
Well, no, it wasn't this time. 3 didn't have it.
True.
So what if the next one is?
But I mean,
Disney?
hey, Yuzora could be like an original character or something. Like they introduced.
That looks exactly like Riku.
It does.
Yeah. And he has 2 different eye colors. Like it's interesting.
Dark Riku.
Hey, so do I.
But I do think that dude is the Master of Masters. And he's looking at the moon and
frankly, I'm still.
But what if it's a
DLC?
The world ends with you crossover?
That's what I'm thinking it's going to be.
Like
with
on
Shibuya.
another platform.
I've actually been looking
looking
this up. Apparently, people that have played the game, they claim that it makes perfect sense. World ends with you. I don't know all the details, but with what happened to Sora,
honestly,
job did since 2.
However you want to look at this, take it literally because look at what Kingdom Hearts 1's secret ending ones, Kingdom Hearts 2's, every game that has a secret ending, they pretty much happen
Reenact.
Like what is seen. I would take
What's
this
going
very,
to happen.
very literally.
The Riku and Roxas fight.
So the obvious answer, I think, is the answer. I don't know if it's going to be DLC. I don't know if it's going to be Kingdom Hearts 4.
There was that article, though, put out about, he's like, if we do DLC, it's going to be a big thing. It's not going to be...
And I think,
like
I don't think it's out of the question.
Yeah, and then, like, he's like, but I want to focus on something else before going to DLC.
And that's fine. Give it some room. I think it's going to be a while till we get DLC. If we get it. And yeah, Xehanort Saga is over.
It's over.
So this does follow what they've been saying. This will end Xehanort Saga.
Yeah.
So who knows?
There's still a lot of unanswered questions. Definitely giving you the hint that there's definitely going to be more games.
Have
like
more
for instance,
questions?
the whole thing with the girl that Lee and Isa met. Like that's probably one of the plot points.
Going through the game, I thought that was nominated.
Nope.
No,
but it's not.
No, it doesn't make sense.
There was also just simply the fact with the box in general. Frankly, I don't get why Zigbar would even
It's the PlayStation 5.
would even tempt people just to look for the box when he's the one guarding it.
Yeah, it is interesting. Because, and I guess Maleficent and Pete, no. Yeah, so that's Kingdom Hearts 3. I fucking loved it. I think it's pretty clear that we all enjoyed it.
Yeah, overall it was fantastic.
I think this game really beat whatever expectations I had for it, which weren't a lot, other than I was really gonna like it anyway. I remember a lot of reviews coming out saying this game is unreviewable. Yeah, it sort of is because of like how long we've been waiting for this game and like how long I've been associated with it, as well as you two. Like we've been playing these games.
It's literally been half our lives.
Exactly. So it's kind of hard to like review something that has like such an emotional like attachment to a lot of people. And like when it is unreviewable, I agree, because like you can't really tell somebody like what, like, especially like growing up with this game and like putting a rating on like something that's emotional to you. You really can't do that.
You can rank it.
Yeah, sure.
Among the other ones.
Yeah, but like I feel like saying like any Kingdom Hearts fan is gonna love this game. It's very apparent. This game is doing insanely well. Even people who aren't into Kingdom Hearts, I know a lot of people that either I went to high school with or I know or aren't into this series. Even though when I hear people like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna play any games, and I get them, and I'm like, ooh, stop. But like certain people, like a lot of random people from high school, I'm not gonna like throw names out, but like ended up getting Kingdom Hearts or were into it before. But I'm just like, wow,
You didn't know.
I'm just like, what? I was like, interesting. Like Kingdom Hearts is selling gangbusters, and I'll say it here. It's going to be on record, and I'm going to say it for the rest of the year. Kingdom Hearts is my game of the year. Kingdom Hearts 3 is my game of the year, and it's my game of the decade.
It's so hard to beat up
Game
that
of
stack.
the decade. Nothing, and I mean nothing will come close to how I feel about this game, to what I think. Like, nothing will ever emotionally resonate with me like this game has.
I would say that
I could think of a game that could.
I would
Death
say,
Stranding?
No.
What?
If he went back to Metal Gear Solid and did like a 6 or something.
I would say
I don't think it's going to happen, but like, yeah, like nothing, there's no build up.
There's no
like,
game we've been waiting for this long for, except for maybe Square's next project.
I remember back when X-Play was a huge thing on G4, and they would
X-Play.
still get emails
Yeah,
all the time.
when's
Of,
Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out?
can you tell us about Kingdom Hearts 3? And it was even a meme joke back then of like,
Yeah.
please stop emailing us about Kingdom
Yeah,
Hearts.
I mean, this game has been so long, and again, like it's just like I can't stress like I feel like this is a biased review, of course, but like I feel like that's the review you want to watch, or you want to look at. Jonathan Dornbush's review on IGN was great.
Fantastic.
The Game Informer review, and then you get to the Polygon review. Somebody who's never played Kingdom Hearts reviewing the game. It's like, well, yeah, but like this game really isn't, like, no offense, and like I'm not trying to like make a claim. This game is not made for you. I'm sorry. Like this game, like you can jump into this game without playing any games, but like this game is for the fans, and that's it.
One of his main things was like, you're replaying the plots of the Disney thing. It's like, that's what we did in the other ones.
That's the game.
Yeah, that's basically the setup of it. But
yeah, I mean, like this game, it's the culmination of like 17 years of story from the beginning. And you know, if you're not gonna play those other games, that's on you. And but like,
I mean, even besides that, the game has pretty positive reviews, actually.
yeah, there's only a few
Polygon was
negatives.
really the only review I read that was negative, and even the people who didn't play Kingdom Hearts like enjoyed it. The game is a lot of fucking fun. The combat is like peak. And I think this game like has like a PS2 vibe where like it tries to do a lot of different things with its mini games and be different games, not just like a third person action game, JRPG, hack and slash. Like it tries to be a lot of different things with either the mini games or, you know, like Look at the Caribbean or, you know, whatever. This game like is a very like the best version of a PS2 game on the PS4 or on current gen consoles. It's fucking fantastic. And like I'm not done it, you know. I still have a lot to go and getting the platinum and stuff.
Obviously, going to be replaying it.
Yeah, but I've really enjoyed the journey, and I think it was worth it. And the ending was, you know, really good. And hey, like I do have some negatives,
and I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, I only have like 3 negatives.
One of them being too easy. Also, no big map. You don't have like a world map. I didn't like that.
Yeah, I wanted a map so bad.
There was no like some of these areas are so huge. I'm like, why isn't there not like a world map that I can look at, that I can see everything?
Like a full.
No Final Fantasy characters, no Coliseum. Like
Coliseum was one of my.
And that's the extent of like my negatives, because like it was never gonna be a negative thing. I'm sure I'll probably nitpick some things like I have, but I feel like the one thing that like I unanimously hear is it's too easy. That's 100% true.
I would still prefer the Kingdom Hearts 2 combat.
Well, with reaction commands.
I do like the reaction commands, but I think they evolve them, and all the mechanics from these older games are evolved.
But it's like how tight that was, and like how well that played into the boss fights as well as the extra boss fights.
Well, take it from someone who plays Mario for his entire life. People usually complain about mechanics being too similar. That's probably what they were afraid they were going to do.
True.
I mean, again, the game, like, I know Tim has said it, and like on Kind of Funny, and he's like, yeah, it's like a PS2 game, and I'm like, yeah, but I think that's a really good thing. It's still true to what Kingdom Hearts is, and it hasn't changed, but it's evolved to next gen.
I like how, like, even amongst all the chaos in the gameplay
great.
and in the battle, like, you know what's going on.
Like you know, everything's just, it has evolved, and it's so much better than it used to be. From 1 to 2 to Birth by Sleep. They're using all the best mechanics of the games and really fleshing them out and putting them into 3. And I think and it's great. And yeah, if you don't get the story, that's on you. If you don't want to play the other games, like that's fine, but like I don't think that's something you can be like, I don't get it. Yeah, because you didn't play the other games. Like that's like watching Infinity War without seeing any of the other Avengers. I'm sorry. Like I'm gonna be harsh about it because I love this fucking game and I don't appreciate when people like run around and be like, I don't get it. Well, fucking play the games, you dumbass. Like,
that's one of the main things.
It's so annoying.
That's one of the main things about video games as a media in general. It's another way of storytelling. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
When you see a cover of a game, they say, why are you doing this? Well, take a look at the cover of your book. I see the same thing.
Yeah, and again, it's another example of like, why would you watch the last Harry Potter without watching any of the others?
Just part 2.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, true. Definitely Outlast Part 2. Yeah, like just go play the other games, man. Like if you really want to play Kingdom Hearts 3, I think it's worth your time to at least check out most of their games. Maybe not Rechain, like there are some games I think you can definitely skip, but 1, 2, Dream Drop Distance, and Birth by Sleep I think all deserve the attention.
And even if you
0.2.
And even if you really have issue with just connecting the story, you can look it up, but really just do it for the gameplay. That's the main thing. Have fun.
I saw somebody say on Kind of Funny Facebook group, and it was like, how do I get into Kingdom Hearts? And I'm like, dude, how could you get into Kingdom Hearts at 23 years old?
Like,
I have
be a Disney fan, and then like that's a good starter.
You must be a fucking... it's like, how do I get into this? I was like, dude...
You can probably comprehend some of the bigger lore things as an adult than you can as a kid, because as a kid, I missed a lot.
If I was an adult playing this game for the first time, I probably wouldn't like it. I don't understand why I would. It's a very childish game, especially in the beginning, but I mean, like, it turns from a kid's game to really something more than that.
If you're a Disney fan, you will like it.
Yeah, and I feel like this game
Disney
does...
fan, Final Fantasy fan.
This game does attract Disney fans, but, like, people, like, this game is known for more than just that. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, with people in the gaming community, like, what would attract you, like, at this point, like, without playing anything? Like,
Nier Automata...
I don't know.
Gameplay?
Sure. I've never played Nier.
Me neither.
I hear it's very similar.
But yeah, that's it. I feel like I'm not going to tell you to go out and just get this game because you should play all the others before you do that.
I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes. I'm imagining next it's gonna get ported to Switch probably.
You know, we're finally at
3 is tough to port to Switch. They'd have to scale down.
Probably.
But I do see like a 358 or something.
But if they do, I'm hoping on my last claim winning our favorite key slinger in Smash. So there's that.
Yeah, I think that needs to happen.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think I've said my piece. I don't know if you guys have any other points. I know we didn't like go too into negatives or things after, but I feel like we covered so much and we've been talking for so long.
Yeah.
I think like it's definitely time to close this book.
See what you did there.
Yeah. Close this chapter.
May your heart be your guiding key.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know where this series is going to go, but I'm definitely,
looking forward to it.
If...
Is it a 4? Is it a
DLC?
3.5? Is it a...
But, we finally have a Square that hasn't been making Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3, which is interesting.
But they still have a 7 remake and...
Yeah, but that hasn't been around that long.
Yeah,
that has been.
It's going to.
It's been requested, but
it's actually being. Yeah. This game actually didn't have as long as the development time as people think. A lot of people were talking about it, but this game is probably
2012, 2013.
2013.
Yeah, I would say is fair.
I mean, that's what we expected to see. We expected to see 3. That's why we say it took so long.
Yeah.
All right. Time to close this out. Thank you guys for watching Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. You can find us at www.delconerdnetwork.com, Facebook, Delco Nerd Network, Instagram and Twitter at the Delco Nerds. You can find this video, this live stream on demand on YouTube. Just search Delco Nerd Network. And, of course, on podcast services, Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts, just by searching Delco Nerd Network. And you can get the audio versions. For Chris, for Jason, this has been Gooch, signing off. Stay tuned, guys. Thanks for listening.